Get nasty on a Tuesday. It's the Fastlane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh. Welcome back, Marshy. Marshy.
Oh, thanks, gentlemen. It's good to be back.
Carey Davis, I'm Anthony Stalter. 203, your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Jamie Rivers is on his way to Winterpeg for Game 5 between the Blues and the Jets, which will be tomorrow night in Winnipeg. Pre-game right here on 101 ESPN starting at 7:30. Puck will drop at 8:30. And you can listen to all the coverage again on 101 ESPN and the Blues Radio Network. So no Jamie today. He'll join us for an hour or so tomorrow. But, boy, the buzz here in St. Louis is off the charts. It's so much fun to be talking about Blues hockey again, Blues playoff hockey again. And they have really ignited the fan base and the city of St. Louis. You walk into, whether it's a grocery store, CD, or you're running errands, whatever. I feel like everybody's decked out in their Blues gear, and there's this buzz again in the city that I've missed, and I think a lot of St. Louis sports fans have missed as well. This last couple of years have sucked when it comes to Blues and Cardinals.
Yeah, I said it probably 3 or 4 games into the win streak, 12-game win streak. I said it feels good to watch meaningful games. Mm-hmm. Like you said, for 2 years from the Cardinals and the Blues, you were watching games, but they didn't mean much. There was no emphasis on making the playoffs or an emphasis on being in the playoffs. Like because it means that much more when you're in the midst of actually trying to make a playoff push, as the Blues were, and they finally did. They finally captured that wild card spot, and now they're in the playoffs. It's phenomenal. It's so boring. I tell you, as a person that watches sports for a living, Anthony, trust me, when you got nothing to watch, when there's no reason to watch, it is brutal, man.
Yeah.
Like, other people can just turn the channel. We gotta watch this crap. Like, we gotta sit there for 2.5 and people, you gotta watch sports for a living. Boo hoo. Boo, life is so hard. You watch these teams, man? Dude, you got to turn the damn channel. I didn't. So yes, it's fun. Yeah. It's great to watch the Blues and how they're playing the last 2 games. The last 3 games, I think they've been playing outstanding. The last 2 wins have been fun. They've chased Connor Hellebuyck, and we want Connor. We want more of you, Connor. Come on back. Don't run from this. Get in your spot and allow goals as you've been doing. So it's been great. It's been fun to watch.
I think there's 2 things that the Blues are providing right now for the fans. 1 is entertainment, that being good hockey, and 2 is hope for the future. That's something that I feel like fans really haven't had for all of the teams, really, as of recent. So the Blues are giving you good entertainment, and they're giving you hope. And I think that's 2 things that the team down the street is not giving you.
No, not at all. And the team down the street lost last night in Cincinnati as the Cardinals fall to the Reds in the series opener. Andre Palante pitched well. He had one mistake. He gave up the home run to Jose Trevino, and it wound up being one of the biggest things that led to the loss. But have we learned anything, guys? That's my question. We're almost a month in. So today's April 29th. The Cardinals play tonight, and they'll play tomorrow. So they still have 2 more games before the end of the month. But I highly doubt anything's going to change over these next 2 games in terms of what we've learned. Have we learned anything about the Cards through a month? Because you can't judge them wins, you can judge them wins and losses. But if we're all being realistic, we knew that this season was not going to be pretty from a wins-loss standpoint. They're not a legit contender.
I don't want to say.
Have we learned anything?
I don't want to say what I want to say. Say it. You know, the kids these days, Anthony, they say things are mid. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cardinals are mid.
Yeah, they're mid.
Or even that.
They're not great. They're not terrible. And I think they're mid. Middle of the pack. Middle. I don't think they're terrible. I don't think they're the Chicago White Sox of last year.
No, I agree.
Like, I think if they were that, my eyes would be sitting on the counter here.
That would be the Colorado Rockies in 2025. Yeah. They are bad.
No, you're right. You're right. They're not the Rockies. They're not the White Sox of a year ago. Correct. They're not the dregs of the league. I agree with that. This is only slightly better, though, because they're just good enough to kind of hang around 500. But we all know that they're not good enough to compete in even a division that is completely winnable. That's where we're at now.
Is it winnable though with this? So I was thinking about this,
but I think they're going to be within. They're gonna be within the bleacher seats of home plate here. You know, they're in the stadium.
You're not close.
You're in the stadium.
Are they in the stadium?
I think they're right outside.
Yeah, are they in those bleachers?
Bricks? Yeah, right outside.
No, they're in the stadium.
They're not in the stadium, but you could
still got
count
a long way to go.
Anthony, I think they're right outside. They can hear what's going on, but they can't see it. So I think you're like right outside of the stadium. Like, you're right there.
This isn't
Clark Street.
This isn't the NL West, though.
Yeah, but they aren't inside the stadium.
Nah, Anthony, I think they're like the seats that were outside of Wrigley, and then they put a scoreboard in front of those seats. That's where they're at.
That's where they're at?
That's where they're at. There's the scoreboard in front of them.
They know a game's going on behind it. They just can't see it.
Right.
All right, that's fine. Carey, you're gonna say something else?
No,
they're not bad. They're terrible. They're not good.
I don't think they're terrible. They're just. I don't think the roster is constructed for them to have the success in the way that they need. I don't think. I mean, I just don't think that they are where they are. They're not a finished product, Anthony. They got more work to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, have we learned anything about this current group? I think on a positive note, Andre Palante has been, again, it's only a month through. Palante, following a bad spring training, Palante looks like the guy he was a year ago. And I think at worst, Andre Palante is a fifth starter for you. I think Matthew Liberatore has been excellent.
Yes. I
think at worst, he is a number 4 starter for you with the upside of being a 3.
I think he's a 2. Could be 2, 3. Okay.
Let's take baby steps right now.
Okay, 3.
Because he wasn't even in the rotation at the start of spring training.
That's not his fault.
But we didn't even consider him.
Who?
We, the fans, and us, the fast lane.
Yeah.
So you
didn't have Liberatore in the rotation when we were talking in January.
When they were saying they were going to put him in the bullpen, I thought it was not a good idea.
But you didn't have him in the rotation.
No, if he's not in the bullpen, Anthony, where should he be? Not in Memphis. No.
Where did you have him?
I had him in the rotation and not Max.
What? When?
You don't. Am I delusional here?
In January, you did. I'm talking
January
about before.
of this year.
Yeah.
Going into the season, yeah.
I'm talking about before spring training.
Yeah, I thought he would be in the rotation. I thought Matz and Michaelis should be in the bullpen.
What? I didn't hear Liberatore. I heard the young guys.
I said it should be McGreevy. I said it should be Sonny Gray if you're going to keep Eric Fetty, Liberatore, Palante, and McGreevy. That should be your 5. That's how I felt. And you should have.
I don't remember that.
Playing off the youth movement.
Yes.
The quote unquote
Max
youth
and
movement.
Michaelis could have been in your bullpen. You're struggling there, huh? See what I did there?
You know what, Carey? I believe you.
All right.
With that being said,
I just don't remember it.
About Matthew Liberatore, does that give you like any hope that some of these other players could come around? Because I think a lot of people were frustrated with Matthew Liberatore, a few years ago. And then last year we see him in the bullpen. We're like, oh, okay, like maybe he can be that Andrew Miller type guy. I don't know how many people had faith in him as a starter based on what we've seen in the past. But now he's come around. You're like, hey, maybe he's a 3. Carey said he could be a 2. Like, some people could also believe that could be the case. Does that give you any, like, pause for some of these guys that are playing the field, that are hitting, that you want to see more out of, but you're like, I see it with Matthew Liberatore, let's give this guy some more time?
If I'm being honest, it's a case-by-case basis.
That's very fair.
I understand your question. I get the nature of the question, which is basically, will you give other players a little bit more leeway, have a little bit more patience, based on the fact that Matthew Liberatore has kind of turned things around here, right? Like he is developing in front of us. We have more patience. But then I start thinking about the other guys, the younger guys, and I'm still in wait and see mode. Jordan Walker, wait and see. Nolan Gorman, wait and see.
I think Jordan Walker at the plate, he still has some room to grow, a lot of room to grow. In the field, he's been outstanding. He made a great play last night, throwing the guy out at first base, caught the ball and threw him out. The runner trying to return back to first base on the run. Like, it was a really good throw, a really good play. He looks much more comfortable. It's amazing what happens when you give a player time and opportunity. Who would have thunk it? Like, who would have ever thought that a person could learn how to be.
You did.
Oh, okay. I did say that.
I didn't. I had my no, not that I doubted that part of what he said, but I questioned whether or not Jordan Walker would be an outfielder.
When you are extremely athletic, like when you're a God-given talent, like when you have athleticism, those guys usually figure it out. I'm just saying. Like,
look, Carey, you were right. I was wrong.
Just figure it out.
I don't know if we need to beat a dead horse here.
I don't want to beat a dead horse. Who wants to? No, you don't beat dead horses.
No, they're already dead.
Yeah.
That's really mean, actually.
Yeah, no, it totally is.
Yeah. We got a text from the 636. You guys are explaining why this team is 100% mid. We are trying to get excited about 4s and 5s in the rotation.
Yeah, that's correct.
Just like how we have 6s and 7s in our lineup. All we draft is high floor players, and we cling to them. Our whole strategy is mid. Why is anyone expecting anything else?
We're not.
I don't think they are.
Well said.
I don't think they're high floor players. I think you got a few high ceiling guys. I think Mason Wynn is a high ceiling guy.
I'll give you that.
I think Jordan Walker is a high ceiling guy. I'll
give you that.
Nolan Gorman is a high-ish ceiling guy.
I think he is what he is.
Okay. Who am I missing? I think Victor Scott is a really high ceiling guy. Like I think he's got an extreme amount of talent. That's 4 guys right there. That's damn near half your lineup. Am I missing anybody? Avon Herrera is a high at the plate. Is a high ceiling guy. That's 5. I mean, hey, give it time. Even kill, fellas. Even kill in this room. Say it with me. Even kill. There you go.
Right. Yeah. All right. Good. I feel great.
You feel better?
I don't feel great. I feel fine.
All right.
Yeah. That's how the Cardinals make me feel. How important is Game 5 for the Blues? We got some stats for you that's going to convince you that, look, Blues win Game 5, they can win the series. That's next on 101 ESPN.
It's time for a Blues playoff report presented by English Sweep Fireplace and Chimney Restoration. Schedule your chimney inspection at EnglishSweep.com.
This game on Wednesday night is maybe the biggest gut check that this group has ever had. They're not down 3-1 in this series. They're very much in this series. They have home ice. They're playing at home, something that they earned from their great regular season. But in a lot of ways, if they don't get back to where they were, this will maybe be the biggest lost opportunity considering what they accomplished this year and the way this series started.
So is Andrew Hustler Patterson via Winnipeg Sports Talk on a situation that the Jets are currently in. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Anthony Stalter. Blues Jets pregame at 7:30 tomorrow night. The puck drop will be at 8:30, and we'll have all the coverage for you right here on the Blues Radio Network. Since Winnipeg's opening round loss to the Blues in 2019, so we're not talking about, obviously, what could happen this year. We're talking about 2019. The Jets have yet to win a single playoff game following a loss in a playoff series. They lost to Montreal in 4 straight. They lost to Vegas in 4 straight. They lost to Colorado in 4 straight, and now have lost back-to-back games to the Blues after, again, the Jets lost. So they lost in Game 3. They lost in Game 4. And have now not had a win following a loss in the playoffs since 2019.
Yeah,
it's remarkable. Furthermore, the Blues are 14-0-0 in their last 14 home games. They have a 4.93 goals for during that period and a 1.79 goals against per game during that period. Their goal differential in those 14 home games is plus 44. This tomorrow night, yeah, it's obviously huge for the Jets because they have home ice advantage still. They would give that up if they were to lose, and obviously they would face elimination. But based on these numbers alone, the Jets struggling to come off a loss in the playoffs and the Blues being so dominant at home, you have to feel great about the Blues closing things out on Friday if they can win tomorrow.
I mean, yeah, I think the Winnipeg Jets are they are combustible. They are a team that has I've said this time and time again, there is something about a winning team and something about a losing team. I've been on both. When you're on the winning team, things just happen in your favor. I can't explain it. Sometimes you create your own luck. Sometimes playing hard and doing the things the right way, the puck bounces the right way for you. I don't know if it's the sports gods that are in your favor because you've done such a good thing. And then sometimes it's just the other way around. When you're a bad team, the Winnipeg Jets, as you said, they lost the last 2 years in the first round. They missed the playoffs the year before that. They got swept in the second round the year before that. Like they are a team with a lot of really good players that for some reason cannot figure things out. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to, say it too much and then all of a sudden they figure it out. But they have struggled in the playoffs. And I thought after those first 2 games, you felt like, okay, this might be the year that the Winnipeg Jets say, forget this, we're not going to allow this to happen again. But then they turn into their own, they turn back into a pumpkin. They start doing their same tricks. And Connor Hellebuyck is going to give up goals. And if you can attack him and put shots on net and continue to drive the net and do those things, you're probably going to score because for some reason, his brain cut off. Like it just shut. Like you're looking at him like he's like, you said it the other day, like he looked like he's lost sometimes when he has the puck. Like, what do I do with this? Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't know. Back of the net. Too late. Yep. So if you're the Blues, play your game. Keep frustrating this team that wants to break. Like, I talk to you all about this all the time. When you're running the football, there's a part in the game where you can see the defense break, and it's like a 30-yard run for a touchdown or a 40-yard run or a 20. You're like, yep, they're done. Third quarter, middle of the third quarter, first series, second series, they're done. Mm-hmm. So there are times in sports where even professional teams hit their breaking point and there's no mas. They don't have anything left to give. I think the Winnipeg Jets, if the Blues go in there and punch them in the face, both literally and figuratively, I think that they break the Winnipeg Jets and it's over.
Yeah, tomorrow night is for me 100% a must win for the Jets. I don't believe it's a must win for the Blues based on those home that home record as of the last 14 games.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Blues could win that game even if they do lose tomorrow night and force a Game 7. Then anything can happen, in Game 7. But if the Blues win, I really do believe they close it out in 6. But man, there's just something to not being able to get over the hump. We were talking about this in the office. Like, it reminds me of Josh Allen and the Bills. Mm. They cannot get past the Chiefs. Like, they just can't. Like, that, there's something mentally there that is hindering them from moving on to getting to where they want to be. And right now, I'm seeing that out of the Winnipeg Jets. So come tomorrow night, if the Blues continue to play the way they do and the Jets lose and Connor Hellebuyck has another weird game, like, to me, it's over for him.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. Stranger things can happen. It's sports, right? You never know what could happen, but there's just something about that mental block that some teams, they can get over it, and some teams can't.
I'll disagree a little bit because I do think it's a must-win for the Blues. I think they. Okay. I do because I feel like if you lose and you come back and win, you still have to go back to Winnipeg for Game 7. And at Game 7, anything can happen. You're on their home ice.
Right.
It's going to be loud. The fans will try to will that team to win a game. So for me, the hell with that. I don't want to have to go back to Winnipeg. I want to go win tomorrow night and win again on Friday and be done with it and not even have to worry about anything else.
Well, yes, like that's the ideal situation. For me, though, if you do go into a Game 7, I would take Jordan Bennington over Connor Hellebuyck. We've seen this story happen before. So, like, that's the confidence that I have if the Blues were to lose Game 5. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's as much of a must-win. If you're comparing the two teams, it is a must-win for the Jets. Like, if it was black and white, must-win for the Jets, not so much for the Blues. But I understand where you're coming from. And if the Blues do win that game, they have a chance to basically end the series.
Go ahead.
Tuesday, March 29th, 2:25 p.m. Marshy says the Blues are the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, I thought you were going a different route.
No, I'm reading the text.
I mean, I never said that, but...
You said that the Blues are the Chiefs and the Jets are the Bills.
The Chiefs are a pretty good organization as of recent.
Let's do it.
I don't like how things went in the Super Bowl, Anthony, based on what this texter's saying.
Marshy. They got there.
Let's go to the snake pick because this is where I thought you were going, CD. Scroll up a little bit here. Our guy Ryan Crawford says, I'm so tired of this being about the damn Jets and their overrated goalie. How about give the damn Blues boys their credit? Give Monty credit. Quit acting like it's about the Jets choking. Just maybe the damn Blues are the better, hotter team.
Maybe it's...
I'm just going to assume that Ryan is tired of the national narrative being about the Jets. If that's directed at us, I certainly hope you have perspective, Ryan, that we have completely given the Blues their credit. We've talked about the Blues winning this series from the jump. This show specifically broke down before Game 3 how this was still a series, how if you make some changes. Jamie highlighted the specific ones about the Jets defense and how the Blues can take advantage of it. I mean, we're gonna talk about the big picture. And he says, yes, all media, no direction. Gotcha. And that's why I thought maybe he was talking about the national media, and Ryan clarified. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, that makes sense, though. Like, the national media would talk about the Jets because they're the best team in the NHL this year.
So let's go back to...
And there's history.
Let's go back to Marsh's thought about the Bills and Josh Allen and that narrative. Narratives are going to be strong around this, the strongest around this time of year. Mm-hmm. And in the National Hockey League, the narrative surrounding the Jets is they can't get over the round one hump. And that's going to be a topic of conversation. And you got a Vezina-winning goaltender who's probably going to win again this year that can't win, quote-unquote, the big one. It's no different than the quarterbacks that we've discussed not winning the big one.
And honestly, I don't mind the national media talking about the Jets and what's happening right now because that's added pressure to that organization.
Yeah.
And to Connor Hellebuyck. Mm-hmm. And Jamie's talked about it. All Winnipeg media, all they can talk about, Connor Hellebuyck. Everybody's talking about it. So let them talk about it and let the Blues go in and just do their business.
Yep.
And handle things the way that they have been because they've been playing really good hockey.
No doubt. And we also discussed, too, the Blues, how nobody wanted to play the Blues going into the postseason because of the 12-game winning streak, because of the fact that everything was firing on all cylinders. Tomorrow night's going to be incredible to watch because you have to imagine, too, that these Winnipeg fans are getting a little cranky, too. They're getting a little nervous, a little anxious. Anxiety's starting to set in for them, knowing that they have seen this before. And I don't know if Splashback Deuce was kidding when he said, "Can you repeat all that?" He probably was. But again, I'll just make it clear. Since Winnipeg's opening round loss to the Blues in 2019, the Jets have yet to win a single playoff game following a loss in a playoff series.
So
they lost four straight to Montreal, 4 straight to Vegas, 4 straight to Colorado, and 2 straight to the Blues.
It was one in 2019, 2020. They won after the Flames beat them.
Which was what year?
The COVID year.
Okay.
This is a qualifying round.
Got it.
When all the teams in the world.
Which doesn't count.
Oh, all right.
It's like the Dodgers World Series.
Is it like the play-in?
No, it's like the Dodgers
Is it like
World
the play-in
Series.
tournament?
Which one?
In 2021. It doesn't count. The COVID Dodgers World Series does not.
Why do you hate the Dodgers so much?
No,
all roads lead back to L.A.
Hold on. In fairness to me, CD, I just said that Winnipeg's opening round whatever that you just said also doesn't count.
Oh. But why'd you have to bring up the Dodgers winning the World Series?
Because it's
relatable. Why did you said the Lakers when they won in the bubble?
That doesn't count either.
Okay. Well, I agree with that one.
Oh, now you do.
How was Lakers doing, Carey?
It's even you don't like.
Lakers stink, like I said.
I get it.
You guys don't play no defense, man. Kind of why old Nico traded Luka, huh? Guy's a cone.
I'll just go around you, thank you. Yeah, no defense. All right, we're gonna play the lineup game. I think Waterboy. Good luck on the lineup game, guys. Hope you have 2 segments planned. Lineup game next on 101 ESPN. When it comes to working with Green Envy, you're working with the absolute best. I told a story yesterday about how I ran into some old friends over the weekend, and they heard one of these spots, and they were actually disappointed with their lawn service. The people the company wasn't working out, and they were tired of looking at their lawn and all the weeds and everything that was going through, and the fact that there's certain areas where the grass wouldn't grow. So they called Green Envy, and they just started the service, and I told them, look, you're going to love it. You're going to love working with Green Envy. They've been in business in St. Louis for well over a decade. They use products that are designed to work on our soil types here in Missouri with our weather conditions. They don't use national, generic, cheap, and effective products like other companies do. So we've got a nationwide company. They can come in and they'll use the same products here in Missouri that they do in like Texas. It doesn't make any sense. But with Green Envy, you're guaranteed that the products are going to be designed to work here in Missouri. So they'll come out, they'll spray for weeds, they'll do everything that they need to do. I saw somebody at Green Envy come out to my house today, and they were spraying around the bushes to make sure that the insects and everything don't eat up all the leaves and make our landscaping look like crap. When it comes to Green Envy, they're fantastic. Again, give them a call, 636-655-3689. Program has no hidden fees, no contract. They're fantastic. GreenEnvyLawns.com is where you can find them online. It's Green Envy.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals lose last night to the Cincinnati Reds by a final score of 3-1. They'll play again tonight, 5:40 first pitch. Miles Michaelis on the mound, going up against Brady Singer. The Blues back in action tomorrow night for Game 5 against the Winnipeg Jets. You can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 7:30. Puck drop is at 8:30. Speaking of the Cardinals, though, after losing last night, again, they have a chance to win tonight in Cincinnati. We'll see what the lineup is tonight for the Cardinals as we play the lineup game. That's next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
So people in the snake pit are already kind of warning CD and I about this lineup game. It could be disastrous. I don't know, though, CD. Sometimes I feel like people want to trip us up a little bit.
Hey, try to oversell it.
Yeah.
Scare us a little bit.
We got to be us, you know?
Throw us off our game.
Yep.
We had a perfect lineup yesterday.
I know we did.
What happened?
Did you really?
And they lost.
They did.
0-3 now, huh?
1-3.
1 and 2.
1 and 2.
I don't know.
1-3.
1 and 3?
Because last time we lost.
I thought that was the second one.
I thought we were 1 and 2.
I thought we were 1 and 1.
I thought you guys were 0 and 2.
Yeah, it's only 2 games. We were 1 and 1.
Either way, it's not good enough.
No, I agree with you.
Well, you know what? You won't have that issue today.
Oh, wow. Okay. Brady Singer is on the bump today. The Royals decided to give up Brady Singer so they can get Jonathan India. And Brady Singer's been excellent. 4-0, 3.62 ERA, 32 strikeouts for the right-hander. So Brady Singer on the bump.
So,
yes.
RHP. Mm-hmm. We're already getting, messages about how difficult it's going to be.
Right.
Is this still Lars here?
I would say
it's
yes.
a different.
I would say Newt. I would say the Newt.
You do it.
Okay. Whoa. Carey, we're on the same page. Yeah, but you're like, fine, you do it.
I'm just going based off of what they said.
Show us. Lars Taylor Tatsui. New bar.
International superstar.
Thank you.
Watch out, don't run into any walls or anything.
All right. Is this Wilson still?
Look, we don't know where the landmines are going to be.
All right, so just stick with it until...
Here's a question. Off the top of our heads, who hasn't gotten a day off in a while? Like Jordan Walker, I don't think has had a day off in a while.
He had a day off a couple of days ago.
Okay. Contreras?
He's probably due for a day off.
Okay, so let's just kind of write him to the side.
Brendan Donovan isn't due for a day. He had some days off due to his injury.
Yep.
Mason Wynn might be, but he just came back off of the IL, so he's probably good. Nolan Arenado might need a day off.
Might need a day off. But no Sajaci now.
No Sajaci, so that would be Donovan and Gorman.
Which is wild to me.
Where are you going to play him?
I don't know. Figure it out.
Are you? Well, Bradford Brown said the same comment yesterday, and I asked him point blank, okay, well, you're going to sit Jordan Walker.
Nah.
And Bradford didn't have an answer, and now I feel like Marsh doesn't have an answer.
Well, here's the day he gets to play.
Who?
Not Thomas Sajaci.
No. Well, he might. He might be playing in Memphis, but
yeah, he's probably playing today.
Anyways, who do you think this is?
It's probably not Contreras, but we can go Contreras if you want to just try it out. But I think it might be Burley. Burley might be playing first base today.
Okay. I think Burleson's going to be in this lineup.
Okay.
I don't know if he's 2.
Who else would you have 2? You wouldn't put Wynn there. You wouldn't put Scott there. You wouldn't put Gorman there.
Okay.
So it's probably Alec Burleson.
Yeah.
Show us Alec Burleson.
You are so wrong.
So here's the question. Do we go Contreras just to eliminate him?
Yeah.
All right. Show us Wilson Contreras.
You're wrong.
Okay. All right, so this is a little out of the box then, right? Maybe it is Victor Scott.
Maybe it's Jordan Walker. He's batted number 2.
He has.
If you're giving Wilson a day off, it's probably not Nolan Arenado. It's not Nolan Gorman. I don't think Donnie would be here. He's been kind of solidified as your 3-hole hitter. You could go Scott. I don't think it would be.
What about Wynn?
You can try it.
Do you like Scott or Wynn more?
I would probably like Walker more.
Okay,
just
go
because
Walker.
I've seen him play. I've seen him hitting that spot.
Go Walker.
Show us Jordan Walker.
No way in hell.
Okay.
All right, let's stop. Take a deep breath.
I think it's Victor Scott.
Okay, go ahead.
Show us Victor Scott.
What a shame.
We're only on the second batter. We've ran off 4 people now. Mason Wynn.
Sure.
Show us Mason Wynn.
Second!
Oh.
Bring me that
Okay. All right, a little tricky. Now, Del, let's get on.
Get back on track.
Show us Brendan Donovan.
Look at that guy. Vibrant, handsome, hair.
All right.
All right.
Nolan Arenado is probably still in the lineup here? Or no?
Yeah.
Let's try it. Show us Nolan Arenado.
A lot of people think you get in your mid-30s and your career's over, but like I always say, until they stop scouting, I ain't going to stop playing.
So this is Burley.
Probably.
Either Burley or Gorman.
Gorman.
Yeah.
Okay. Which one?
I say Burleson.
Okay.
Show us Alec Burleson.
No, no, no.
Show us Nolan Gorman.
What the hell?
Jordan Walker?
Yeah.
You do it.
Show us Jordan Walker.
Sorry, guys.
Who the heck is batting 5th?
Is Contreras just down in the lineup?
Okay, sure.
Show us Wilson Contreras.
You don't know how to play first base. It's not that hard. Tell him, Wash.
It's incredibly hard.
Hey, anything worth doing is.
Okay.
All right, so Burley isn't in the lineup.
Unless Contreras is the DH, that's his day off.
Okay.
And Burleson is 6.
So you think Burley is here?
Yeah. I mean, I have no
clue. Show us Alec Burleson.
I thought I told you I'm a star.
You're already acting like you're a star, and we haven't even opened yet.
Okay. So I'm gonna put Burley at first.
Yeah. This is probably Jordan Walker then.
Donovan's at second, right? Newt is in left. We still got right
field, center
yep.
field,
Yes.
catcher.
Yep.
Show us Jordan Walker.
Not great.
What in the H.E. Dohawk?
I mean, is this your catcher? Is this Pajes?
Sure. Maybe Burley is playing right field, and Donovan is in the lineup as the DH, and Contreras is the first baseman. Or maybe Gorman is playing third base, and Arenado is the DH. Who the hell knows at this point?
Or Burley's playing first. Contreras is your DH. Gorman is at second. Donovan is in left.
Okay.
Newt is in right.
Okay.
So this could be Gorman.
All right.
All right. Show us Nolan Gorman.
Swing Serenade is brought to you by Gorman's.
Dingers! Hang me a curve and I will hit. Dingers!
I have no clue what he's playing.
Okay, so I think Victor Scott is 9th. I think this is your catcher.
Show us Pedro Pajes.
Is it Pajes? Show us Pozo.
Where did this come from?
In an investigation,
Went too fast.
All right, show us Victor Scott.
Run as fast as you can.
What a mess.
Catch me. I'm the gingerbread man.
Okay, please run it here, Marsh.
Leading off in right field, Lars Newtberg. Batting second, the shortstop, Mason Wynn. Batting third in left field, Brendan Donovan. Your cleanup hitter, third baseman, Arenado. Batting fifth, the DH, Wilson Contreras. Batting sixth, first baseman, Alec Burleson. Batting seventh, playing second base, Nolan Gorman. Batting eighth, catching is your guy, Anthony. It's Pozo. And batting ninth in center field, Victor Scott II.
They were really giving us a heads up on that. They meant it, Carey.
I don't believe what I just saw.
Home run.
Yeah, that was tough.
That was very tough. Yeah. All right, Marsh, what do we got?
So nobody hit a home run yesterday.
Surprise.
Almost a leadoff homer.
That doesn't count.
For Newt/me.
That
Almost
doesn't count. So it's still 3-2-1-1. Give me Yoel Poso to hit a home run.
Why not?
Is he a three-pointer? I would assume so.
Gotta be.
He should be a 5-point.
Nah,
He's a
I
three-pointer.
don't want to make new rules here, fellas.
All right, who's up next?
That would be Jamie Rivers.
Oh, he's definitely going Pedro Pajes off the bench.
Good call. Jamie took Pedro Pajes off the bench for a 10-pointer. Carey?
This is going to suck when he hits one.
He won't.
Give me Wilson Contreras.
You got Contreras?
Yeah.
Give me Newt again, please. All right. We had the conversation yesterday, and I think we're going to get back into it at some point, but we had the conversation about Shedeur Sanders and him basically treating the NFL draft, like pre-draft process, as almost like a recruiting visit. He's not the only one, though, where I feel like teams looked at him and said, you know what, you're just not worth it. And I'm not even talking about a player. I'm talking about a legendary coach. We'll talk about it next on 101 ESPN. Guys, not too long ago, I felt as though that I was consistently running on empty, and my guy Jamie Rivers was kind enough to take me down to Mentality. They got two different locations, one in Chesterfield and one in South County. Started off at Chesterfield. I sat down with their board-certified physicians, and they asked me basic questions. You know, how you feeling? Well, low energy, lack of motivation to do certain things. Fatigued, tired all the time, wasn't motivated enough to get in the gym, feeling anxious, moody, irritable. I mean, just common symptoms, as I know now, of low testosterone. And Mentality started my program. They're a local healthcare facility that specializes in helping men feel like they're at their very best. So their physicians provide a full physical consultation. It's very easy. And then they do a blood panel. And if it comes back that you're low on testosterone, like Jamie and I were, and a lot of men are, because as we get older, guys, testosterone levels dip. And there are natural ways you can bring it up a little bit, but not to the point where you feel like that energy comes roaring back, or the belly fat burns off, or the muscle strengthens, or you feel like yourself again, quite frankly. That's what Jamie and I felt when we have done Mentality. And the treatments are designed to fit our lifestyle, even with the busy schedule. It's fast, easy, and safe. And Mentality physicians have helped men like us discover and address other health conditions during routine checkups. So it's fantastic. So check them out. Visit mentalityhealth.com/radio to find out more information, or just go down there. Tell them Jamie and I sent you in there. It's Mentality. Have you guys been following this Bill Belichick situation with the girlfriend?
It's kind of weird.
It's kind of weird.
Very weird.
So Belichick had an interview. He gave an interview to CBS, and the whole interview was set up by the fact that he's got a book out, and it was CBS Mornings, and everything was kind of fine. Like everything's, the interview was pretty normal, and then toward the end, the interviewer asked about, and he just asked a simple question. He said, "How did you meet your now girlfriend, 24-year-old Jordan Hudson?" And before Belichick even answered, Jordan Hudson, from like 5 feet away, because she was there, said, "We're not talking about that."
Yeah. So
she wasn't in the interview. She was to the side.
And Bill had kind of a dumb look on his face, like he was dumbfounded. Like you never see. He doesn't look like he's in control of what's going on. He looks very...
Not at all.
He didn't look like a guy that built a dynasty in New England.
Not at all.
Yeah.
He's sitting there with the Navy sweatshirt. He's got it like
a rip in it. Yeah,
it was
like, I think he does that on. It's weird.
Yeah.
Why is that your style? So one thing we learned in media training as an athlete is the moment you say no comment, that becomes the story.
Right.
Like when if you say no comment, that's like pleading the fifth on stand. Like you're guilty. Like whatever I just asked you, you're guilty. Or whatever it is you don't want to answer. Now I want to know more.
Yep.
Now I'm intrigued. I didn't really care, but why do you say no comment? Why don't you want anyone to know about where you two met?
Yeah.
And now people are peering into their relationship, which
who cares? I mean, they're adults.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think?
He's really
70,
an adult.
She's 70,
just an adult.
3?
Yeah, 73, she's 24. Which, whatever, again, it's, my thing is this, because it's not just like awkward interviews, which he has done plenty of, let's be honest. It's also the fact that he asked North Carolina to include her, to CC her on every email.
Maybe he's unable to handle, the amount of emails that are coming in. And maybe, but I guess you could just give her your login. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Isn't the assistant doesn't he have an assistant to just go through that?
Maybe she is his
There
assistant.
it is. So they like the New York Post. The New York Post dove into like background on her and some people, and this is just other people's opinions, but they kind of feel like she has jumped at the opportunity to become Bill Belichick's not only girlfriend but his PR firm. But moving off of that, the more I read all of the stuff that comes out and the articles and whatever, the more I'm reminded, CD, of like Shadur Sanders in a much different way. But a year ago, when Belichick became free to talk to any team he wanted, teams passed on him. Mm-hmm. The Falcons interviewed him for 2 straight days and decided to hire Raheem Morris. Washington, I don't even think sat down with him. And there were 6 or 7 openings, and every team went with somebody else. Now, you could simply say, hey, he didn't have Tom Brady in the last couple of years in New England, wound up being a disaster. He is an older coach. You don't know how long he's going to coach. There's that possibility, right?
Right.
But I also wonder if you got behind the scenes, the teams got behind the scenes and they're like, this isn't the same dude. It just seems very weird. It seems like he has decided that he's more about almost cleaning up his public image as opposed to coaching football and building bigger programs.
I think I thought the North Carolina move was weird.
I'm sorry. Jason Gordon goes, Bill, blink 3 times if you're in danger.
I think the North Carolina move was odd. I didn't think it would work. I don't know. We haven't watched the game yet.
Yeah.
So we don't know. Because I felt like the landscape and honestly the landscape has changed in the last 20 years from what college to pro was. These college young players are more and more like pros every single day, but there are more expectations from these college players than there have been. It's actually becoming harder to coach at the college level than it is the pro level because some of them kids can become free agents essentially every single day if they choose to, every single month, every single, year after that contract, and say, yeah, I want more. Whereas opposed to in the NFL, you got a 4-year deal. You're going to play out that 4 years. Now, maybe you come back after 3 and say, hey, I did well. Let's re-up so I don't have to go into this last year. But college has changed drastically. So I didn't know that. I don't know. We haven't watched the game, as I said. So we'll see how it looks on the field. But off the field right now, this is strange.
It totally is. Yeah. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. How close to a playoff spot do the Cardinals need to be to keep Nolan Arenado come the trade deadline? Katie Wu. Nolan Arenado.
Thank you.
Come the trade deadline. Katie Wu talked to BK and Ferrario yesterday and had some thoughts on this. And I don't know, it made me think, like, really? Are they even, you know what? Let's get into it next on 101 ESPN. .303 Your Time Check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Carey Davis and Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. So Katie Wu, she appears on, she makes appearances on BK and Ferrario's show. She talked about yesterday on the show, Arenado's change in mindset when it comes to him not being dealt, and then him coming in and him changing his approach at offensively. So far, so good. But here's Katie Woo on Arenado's change in mindset before we get to the trade deadline stuff.
He knows he's a better baseball player than what he put forward in 23 and 24, and what I'm seeing is a focus on improving that. Wrote a story in The Athletic today. By no means am I proclaiming that he's an all-star, but there are changes, and he looks different in ways that he has not over the last 2 years on both sides of the ball. And when I talked to both him and Ollie about it over the weekend, they credit a change in mindset. It's a rejuvenated mindset. It's someone who's focused on trying to be a better baseball player. We're seeing the results. I mean, he's hardly striking out. He's in the 99th percentile with a strikeout rate. He's making better contact. The defense, exceptional. And most importantly, he's become someone that can kind of mentor the young guys as they go through this weird transition season. So, again, I'm not saying that he's fixed, but I am saying that there are reasons to be encouraged about what he's done. And when you think about how this offseason went and how he reported to spring, I think it's been handled all around the best way possible.
So this was from Katie Woo's article, and this is entering Sunday. So there's been Sunday and then last night's game. But entering Sunday, Arenado's slash line, 260, 438, 798 OPS, which is up significantly from a year ago at this time. So a year ago in April, he was off to a poor start. So he has shown significant improvement from last April. He attributes the success to better swing mechanics, posture, and pitch selection. And I think that last one is significant. If you don't have an approach at the plate as far as what a pitcher is going to throw you, you might expand more, and that leads you into pitchers counts, and then they can throw the kitchen sink at you, and you can't eliminate certain pitches. He's striking out, as she mentioned, just 6.4% of the time, that 99 percentile that she mentioned, with a strong walk and whiff rates. He's among the team leaders in RBIs, doubles, and hits. He's been excellent.
She said something else that caught my attention. She said he's mentoring the younger players as they go through this awkward transition. That was one of the things that we heard he was unable or unwilling, or maybe just
I think
wasn't
we made a bunch
doing.
of assumptions on that.
Maybe we did, or maybe that's kind of the way that it was explained to us, which is why they had to bring in Matt Carpenter and what's the other second baseman's name?
Nolan Gorman?
Brandon Crawford.
Oh, a year ago.
Shortstop, second baseman, utility infielder.
Yeah,
him. Yeah, so that was interesting. He's not striking out. That's good. He's seeing the ball. He's hitting the ball. Again, Brent Brown's name is not mentioned, but he talked about the mechanics of it and shifting weight and how he's got it, like all of the things that go along with hitting the ball better. We've seen a lot of these players have some success, more so early on. I think they're coming back down to earth for the most part, but they have had some success based on, I guess, some of the things that he's talked to them and worked with them on. So, it's good to see him having the success. Keep it up, because we need you to.
All right, so, Carey, this question goes perfectly with this other audio from Katie Woo. Thomas from the Snake Pit said, wouldn't you want to keep Arenado if you somehow find yourself pushing for the playoffs? Well,
Thomas.
Perfect enough here. Great transition. Katie Woo. Here's Katie Woo on foul territory on what Nolan Arenado's future would be with the Cardinals.
The question about Nolan Arenado is going to be just how much longer is he in St. Louis? And that is a question that seems impossible to answer. And the reason for that is because it's going to depend on what the team does. The Cardinals are 12-16. I will say, not a good record, but I think they're better than what the record shows. In the 28 games they've played, 18 have been decided by 3 runs or fewer. So they've just been on the losing end of a lot of late inning games. Their bullpen has been a problem. Nolan Arenado's play has been much better. That's his 3rd homer of the season here. Defense looks good. His mindset is much better. He's playing a better quality of baseball than we've seen over the last 2 years. So if we're going by the way that Arenado looks at the plate and how he's been on the diamond for the first month, yes, I think you're getting a better version of him that we saw in 23 and 24. However, the Cardinals play in a division where if you hover around 500, you're still considered in it. And I think we're going to go down to the wire for the trade deadline to see what they're going to do. My gut feeling tells me, Alana, that if these St. Louis Cardinals are around 500 and somewhat in contention for a playoff spot, I do not think John Mozeliak in his final year as president of baseball operations is going to just hang in the towel, right? I think he's going to look to add incrementally. Trading away a future Hall of Fame third baseman wouldn't necessarily seem to fit that plan, but I really think Arenado's future hinges on how the team looks over the next few months.
All right, so that was interesting. You know, my viewpoint on this has changed a little bit because of what we've seen out of the Blues. The Blues making the playoffs alone has really, you know, everything that they have done leading up to the point, it has become justified. It is so exciting to watch playoff hockey again that it's hard to justify saying, well, if the Cardinals are in a potential playoff spot, to just go ahead and treat the players like assets. But here's the bottom line. The Blues had a 12-game winning streak that led to them making the playoffs.
That was
after the trade deadline.
Yeah.
But they also have a young core that is complemented by the veteran players. You weren't going to trade Robert Thomas. You weren't going to trade Jordan Walker. I know that Braden Schen's name was brought up. Braden Schenn a little bit older, but ultimately the Blues said he's our captain. He ain't going anywhere. He don't want to be anywhere, right? The Cardinals are in a different position. To me, Nolan Arenado is just that. He's an asset for the Cardinals. If a team comes in and is willing to take the remainder of the contract and give you prospects, I'm sorry, he needs to be dealt. If he's willing to waive his no-trade clause, obviously, because we ran into that before. That's a big caveat. But if he's willing to waive his no-trade clause and you're able to move the contract and get prospects in return, you sell high. Let's not forget they're trying to deal him in the offseason when he nixed the deal with Houston. So how are things changed if they're around 500? That's the other key to this. If the Mets right now are 20-9, if they're 11 games above 500, that's a different story. But if you're hovering around 500 and some team comes, knocking on your door for Arenado, willing to eat the contract and give you a prospect package, there's no discussion. Do you guys disagree?
No, I think you do move him at the deadline or before if you're able to. But I guess the question becomes the same question that it's been pretty much all offseason. What's more important, the money or getting that roster spot? Or is it now getting prospects? Because Nolan Arenado is 33, 34 years old?
Yes.
He's probably on the back nine of his career, no question asked.
No question asked.
The level of prospect that you are going to get at this age and the play that he's not striking out, but he's not the MVP caliber player that he was in 2021, right? Or was it 22? 2022.
Yes.
2022. You're not going to get that level of caliber of a prospect back.
Oh, no.
So it's more about moving on and freeing up that spot.
Correct.
You're still going to have money that you have to eat. You're still going to be paying a portion of his salary, what that number is and what you're comfortable digesting. If you're the Cardinals front office, that's on you to decide. But I think the most important part is I don't think that this team, we saw the message earlier, is what if they're in a playoff push? Mm-hmm. I don't think that's going to be a concern for them.
I agree.
No offense to anybody that's down there working their butts off. I just don't think that this team, I was just looking at the schedule, only 4 of their wins have come against teams with a record over 500.
Mm-hmm.
The other, 8, 7 teams under 500.
Yeah, they're not good enough.
They're not.
Not even close.
I think it's tough, and I know we'll get more into this later, but I just think it's tough to put a final verdict for this team because of what the Blues just did. And I know it's apples to oranges because it's 2 different sports, it's 2 different teams. It is different, but there's also I'm coming from a fan perspective. Mm-hmm. It is hard to put a final verdict on this team that they're not going to be in the mix because we don't know. Because I think there's some people that would have said a couple months ago that the Blues were not in the mix, and they were thinking the same thing.
I think the Blues offseason put them in the mix right away.
So that's another argument to that. I agree.
It didn't start off great, right? I think once Drew Bannister was fired and you saw Monty come in, I think that you saw the shift starting to happen. And I'm not saying, but you felt like even in the offseason with the offer sheets and the signing of bringing in Suter, and people are like, oh, and then they traded, they got Cam Fowler. You're like, oh, they're really doing something. I think the movement that they had in the offseason and to begin the season is vastly different than what you saw this offseason for the Cardinals, where they essentially sat on their hands and said, go get them, guys. Phil Mayton? Oh, okay, sure. Anybody else? Nope, we're good. Do it. Sate's Tyken.
Right.
Nobody else getting on this bus. We're good.
Yeah, the Blues were more aggressive to make that playoff push. Marsh, you're right. It took until the second half post deadline for things to click. But
I just wonder if there's like a moment in the season where you end up bringing up some of those young pitchers, and all of a sudden you take off. And you find yourself in the same situation that the Detroit Tigers found themselves in last year.
What did they do, though?
They sold at the deadline.
Yep.
They did.
So it's
absolutely.
It's not impossible.
But maybe that's what it is, where you end up moving Arenado, you give somebody else that spot, and then things start to click. So maybe that's where it comes in.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's easier for us to say, well, the Blues figured it out. Because hindsight's 2020, we're watching it happen right now.
Right.
We knew it. We knew what happened. I don't know if we can say the same thing about the Cardinals, but I don't think we can rule that out 100%.
We can't talk in absolutes either way.
Only Sith deals in absolute, Anthony. You know that.
Right. Absolutely.
Look what happened to them.
I know.
It took a while, but they finally lost.
Not great.
Yeah.
At all.
Do you know what he's talking?
No.
Okay.
Talk about Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
That's why you don't. You still didn't watch that show, did
May
you?
the 4th
didn't.
be with you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Coming up shortly.
Listen up.
Yeah.
May the 4th.
May the 4th. Absolutely.
Coming up shortly.
Okay. NFL 4 Downs next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Fastline on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh. No Jamie Rivers today. He's traveling to Winnipeg. All right, NFL 4 downs.
First down.
All right, Carey. I'm going to bring this up so you can say this in front of Marsh, because you kind of said this yesterday, and I can't believe you did. Can the Steelers really enter the season with Mason Rudolph as their starting quarterback? Or is signing Aaron Rodgers a foregone conclusion?
I think they're, probably at some point, Aaron will be in the black and gold. Or
so you've softened your approach on
maybe they feel comfortable with what they did at the draft. Mason Rudolph didn't have a terrible year last year when he got his opportunities in old Tennessee, and you went and drafted a quarterback who just won a national championship. Nope, not Kyle McCord. The other guy. Will Howard.
The other guy.
What did,
I think it's the reverse on that.
Yeah, there you go.
It sounds like Carey's changed his tune since yesterday. Of course,
totally.
I wasn't here. What did he say yesterday, Anthony?
Oh, he said that he didn't want Aaron Rodgers or Kirky football, and he's just fine. He's just fine with Mason Rudolph as a starter.
I definitely never said that.
I said to you, I go, they have to sign Aaron Rodgers.
I said, we're not signing Kirk Cousins. That's an Atlanta problem. An Atlanta problem.
Doesn't sound like a problem to me. It's a real expensive backup.
I think it's fair to say, as a Steelers fan, that you wouldn't want Mason Rudolph to be your starter, and you also wouldn't want either of those two quarterbacks on your team.
Oh, I agree. But what's the
worst that can happen?
Well, no. What do you do now?
What's it called? The
solution.
The ultimatum?
No, the
Stalter's
better
choice.
of two evils.
Oh.
What's the better of two evils?
I would have never gotten to that.
But it's Aaron Rodgers and Mason Rudolph. Do you get it? It's the better of two evils.
Yeah. They say trust the devil, Yeah.
Well, no, not in this case. If you're the Steelers, because you would know Mason Rudolph. What did you say like a month ago? You'd rather go with the Super Bowl winner.
Oh, yeah. I definitely would rather go with a Super Bowl winner.
Multi-MVP. Not that Aaron Rodgers is...
He's a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah. But
he's going to be a first ballot guy. He's won the MVP multiple times. He hasn't had the past 2 seasons. One, he tore his Achilles quickly and didn't even get to play in that one. Last year wasn't a great season. Did get better as the year got going along. And I think if he should be completely healthy at this point. Almost 2 years removed from that torn Achilles, 18 months, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. He should be more than healed and ready to roll. Same thing with Kirky football. He was hurt last year. Mm-hmm. Hurt his shoulder, hurt his Achilles, hurt his feelings. Couldn't go under center and run outside zone because his Achilles just wouldn't allow him to get there, so they had to go in the pistol, and everybody knew what they were running. It was weird. Mm-hmm. But he's healthy now, Anthony. And he will be ready to roll for your Falcons.
He'll be ready to stand there with a clipboard and a baseball hat, rooting on Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah, I don't like the situation you're in at all, Carey. You're talking about choosing between two evils. As Geralt of Rivia once said, if I'm to choose between one evil and another, then I prefer not to choose at all.
Okay, well, good luck with Will Howard then.
I like Will.
Mo Fallon Mickey says, Fastlane Rodgers, why would any team sign up for that ish show? Because you have Mason Rudolph as your starter right now. That's why.
And Will Howard isn't the starter right now.
Second down. Speaking of Kirky football, are the Falcons and Kirk Cousins stuck with each other for another season?
Yep.
I think they are.
Yeah.
I think if you're the Falcons, you're like, hey, we're already paying you. And might as well just be the backup.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to pay him to go elsewhere.
Right.
When you always need a veteran or a capable quarterback as your backup quarterback. Guy gets injured, guy gets dinged up, elbow, helmet to the head, concussion, whatever the case may be, and you have to miss a snap, a half, a game.
Yeah.
To have a backup that is capable of going in. I mean, we saw with the Miami Dolphins, they had to bring Tyler Huntley, and he didn't know he couldn't throw the ball forward. And it took him a while to figure out the offense before they were able to even have some form of offensive mindset. So, yeah, you get a Kirk Cousins who obviously is not going to be the starter because you drafted the starter last year, and he took his job at the end of the year. Kirk Cousins on the roster makes all the sense to me, because you're going to be paying him either way.
Yeah, you don't have to move him.
Yeah.
If you were going to be some big problem, that'd be different. But he showed up. He already showed up to spring practices and stuff. So it's not like he's holding out. And that had to be pretty humbling if you're Kirk Cousins and you're sitting there on draft day and they're like, we'll go with somebody else.
Humbling wouldn't be the word I'd use.
What would you use?
Oh, fire, smoke.
Fire, passion, desire.
No.
To be a number 2.
Steam coming out of your ears. You'd probably be really
Anger,
upset.
frustration.
Yeah. Led astray,
Irate.
misled. Oh, irate is a great one.
Thank you.
You sitting there like, oh, the draft is on. Wait, Atlanta drafted who? Hey,
I'm talking about this past year. I'm talking about this past draft.
Oh, last year? The draft
No, this one.
What about this one?
Because if you're sitting there and you're like, I could play for Cleveland, or Cleveland drafted 2 quarterbacks. Cleveland drafted 2 players that have QB by their name.
There's no spot for Kirk Cousins this year.
Pittsburgh doesn't want him. So
don't need him.
Where are you going to go?
Yeah.
Atlanta's not going to trade you within the division.
3rd down.
Speaking of Shedeur, his fall became the storyline of the 2025 NFL draft, but it was Cam Ward who actually went number 1 overall. Isn't it funny that the number 1 overall pick, usually there's so much hype pre-draft that as soon as it's number 1, you're like, that storyline is dead.
Yeah.
I think the same thing just happened with Cam Ward. Do you guys think he can turn around a sinking ship in Tennessee? We really haven't talked much about Cam Ward.
Did you watch Tennessee play last year?
The Titans?
Yeah.
Yeah, terrible.
They were not good. They weren't good.
They had the number 1 overall pick.
That's usually how that works.
The NFL sets it up for you. If you're the worst team, you get the number 1 pick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know if him alone is able to turn it around. I think he's going to. He's a rookie quarterback, so the expectations for rookie quarterbacks, in my opinion, shouldn't be high.
Jaden Daniels.
There's an exception to every rule.
CJ Stroud.
And what did he do next year?
Made the playoffs.
He stunk the next year.
Won a playoff game.
They still stunk. His second year?
It's 2-2 in playoff. Yeah, they made the play. They beat the Chargers. The Winnipeg Jets of the NFL.
We don't talk about the Chargers. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Jaden Daniels had a better roster around him. I think C.J. Stroud had a better roster around him, receivers that can go get the ball, guys that can make plays. Right now, you're looking at Calvin Ridley. They just signed Tyler Lockett as the veteran receiver for that core, for that group.
Carey, I completely agree with you.
I don't think there's much that Cam Ward is going to be able to do in his first year, but give him some time. I think he'll be okay. They are. I mean, he's in a division that, anything could happen.
Yeah, right. That's kind of where that's where you draw a little pause.
Yeah. I like Cam Ward's just attitude, especially like where he's come from. I mean, Miami was not relevant in terms of college football program as of recent. The last time they were relevant was early 2000s. And I know they had a good season like in the 2010s, but they haven't been a relevant program since like the early 2000s. They're the U, right? Like he brought them back to relevancy. I think he can do the same thing with the Titans. I don't think it's going to be a situation like the Washington Commanders or the Texans where all of a sudden boom, just like that, they're in a playoff spot. But like Carey said, they are in a weaker division. You never know what could happen, but he's the type of guy, in my opinion, who has worked his entire life to get to where he's going to be. And I think he's going to continue to do that and continue to get better. So I'm excited to see what he can do in the NFL.
4th down.
All right, Marshy. Is J.J. McCarthy truly ready to take over for Minnesota?
Absolutely.
Is Sam Howell enough of a backup plan?
Bringing in Sam Howell only reaffirms to me that they are locked in on J.J. McCarthy.
I agree. I think, look, I know, CD, you're not a huge fan.
I'm good.
I realize that. But you were just hyping up Will Howard for winning a national title. J.J. McCarthy did so, too, 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I think that
Will Howard went in the 6th round.
Exactly. Which is why you should be hyping up J.J. McCarthy, who went in the 1st.
Is that how that works?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think that under Kevin O'Connell, he'll be just fine. Kevin O'Connell has proven to be the quarterback whisperer. He made Kirk Cousins look good. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN.
And Sam Darnold.
And Sam Darnold. I think the bigger resume, like if you're going to highlight something on the resume for O'Connell is, I got Kirk Cousins to play good football. Because Sam Darnold at one point was a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You just want to hate on Kirk at any moment that you
He
can.
hates Kirk.
It's not true. What did I just say? I wanted him as my backup.
What I learned, you missed it. You weren't here yesterday. What I learned yesterday is that Anthony is really not a Falcons fan.
It's not
he
true.
hates Kirk Cousins. Mm-hmm. He hated the Bijan Robinson pick. I didn't hate it. He hates the tight end. I got him dropping his name right now.
Exactly, because he drops too many passes.
He just hates the Falcons. He hates everything that they do.
Why would you take a tight end number 4 overall?
He hated James Pierce, that they moved up and lost all that draft capital for years to come.
They punted an entire draft. He better be good. That's all I'm saying.
Not if they both get 10 sacks each, Anthony.
Oh, well, then I'll shut my mouth.
Well, they got to play first, right?
Yeah.
Just saying.
How many games rookies play last year?
Thank you, Marsh. Under 5. An average of under 5. And you want me to trust Terry Fontenot? That would be 17 games. They played less than 5 on average, the draft class last year. I mean, come on. Bacon wrapped wiener and steak, but Pitts is an effing unicorn. Yeah, you can't find them on the field. You can't find them, just like unicorns. All right, what's trending is next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Call my guy Stewie's on the line right now. And Stewie, I know that you had a recent situation where somebody purchased a home and you very quickly refied for them.
That's right, Anthony. What happened was when they bought their house, they had 2 mortgages on the house that they're in now and a rental property. And when they bought a third house, which was that they were moving into, they had to use both their incomes in order to qualify for the loan. They had to pay a higher rate. Then later on now, they've rented the property that they used to live in. And since they rented the property, we can offset that income and only use one person's income between the husband and wife. Therefore, their income is lower. They qualify for a better rate. We knocked off 0.5% for free. They're saving $140 a month on the payment, and nothing has changed.
There you go. Perfect. But you do have to pick up the phone and either call or text Stewie if you want his help, because he's saving clients money hand over fist, whether you're buying a home, refi, or doing both, as Stewie just said, debt consolidation, whatever it is when it comes to your financial security, your loans, everything like that, have our guy Stewie handle it for you. Give him a call, 314-324-4440. You can call him, you can text him. That's his personal number, same number that I used when I had questions for Stewie a couple of weeks ago. Same exact number I used that you can use as well for all your refi, buying, debt consolidation needs. Give him a call or Google the Bagel Loan. Get his information there. Thanks, Stewie.
Go Blues.
NMLS number 226715.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals lost to the Reds last night by a final score of 3-1. They're back in action tonight at Great American Small Park, as Anthony likes to call it. 5:40 first pitch. Miles Michaelis on the mound going up against Brady Singer. The Blues off tonight, but they'll take on the Jets tomorrow night for Game 5 of this first-round matchup. Pre-game for that one starts at 7:30. Puck drop is at 8:30. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our full shows there. And it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. We have What's Trending coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
In the sports world.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
It's time to find out with
What's Trending, brought to you by Elite Comfort Experts. Heating and cooling with no gimmicks, just guarantees. EliteComfortExperts.com.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, what is trending on the internet right now is the discussion if 100 men, 100 dudes took on one gorilla, could the gorilla take down all 100 men? I want to get your thoughts on this. Anthony, I know you're a huge fan of the Roman times, gladiators. They used to fight not only each other, but animals as well.
Yeah.
Do you think 100 dudes could take down one gorilla?
No weapons.
No weapons. Hand-to-hand combat.
You haven't seen this. You haven't been paying attention.
So you have been paying attention.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, what do you think then? I'm not locked in on this matchup.
So I think it's Van Lathan. He posted something the other day, and he had a breakdown of how it could work and the type of people you would need, and he had in parentheses, really big letters. Some will die.
I mean, yeah.
I've seen both sides of this. I would have to believe. I guess the problem comes in with this gorilla, you're probably only getting 10 to 15 people at a time at the gorilla.
Right.
Like, you're not getting all 100 men on the gorilla at one time because it's just not enough room.
At some point, though, that gorilla's going to tire.
Is he, though? Do you know the physics of gorillas? Do you know if they have how many lungs they have? Are they able to go a complete game 9 innings, unlike pitchers? Like I don't know.
We're talking about a gorilla, not a robot.
But it's a gorilla. It's strong.
Who would also need to recharge, by the way.
Anthony, have you seen the Planet of the Apes films?
I have.
Do you think?
There's a lot of them.
I don't know, man. He's rangy, got long arms, and super strength.
Yeah. I think he'd tire.
But you don't know.
No, of course I don't know. It's hypothetical.
How many men survive this quest?
Oh, I think we lose half the men.
I think
at least
more than half.
But as you just mentioned, the other men are resting while the other ones are getting killed.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I think so.
Do you have enough men to actually go after the gorilla? That's the thing.
You have 100.
I mean, that's willing to, because somebody's going to have to step up.
Well, you have no choice. Like, let's say you're in like a Hunger Games situation, and the arena is a little bit smaller than, Let's say that it's at the Roman Coliseum.
So nowhere to go.
Nowhere to hide.
Still, though, you're going to have enough guys step up to at least tire this gorilla down.
Yeah, but here's the problem. You see your guy 75, right? You see guy number 20 go in there and get snapped. Are you eager to run
This
in
is
there?
this is what I'm saying.
Are you like?
This is exactly what I'm saying.
Are you like, by the time he gets to 75, he's going to be so tired that I'm going to be able to break his will? Are you sure?
I'm saying he might.
I think here's what I would do.
Do we not believe in mankind at all?
I can't go off of might. I can't go off of he might be tired.
Carey's been doing it all Cardinals season for the last 3 years.
Exactly.
We've been hoping.
Yeah, I need to see some film on this.
I would poke him in the eye. I'd poke both of his eyes out.
Do you get close enough to do that?
Well, you got it's got to be a teamwork. You got to have a plan. So while the other 50 dudes are going in thinking that they can beat up this gorilla, I'm with the other 25. While other 25 guys are doing whatever they want to do, I'm getting a group of guys and we're getting a game plan together in the corner while these other people go do their thing. We actually come up with a game plan.
I kind of feel like this is not, you don't just willingly go into this. Like you almost have to be put in. You have to be
fight or
selected.
flight.
Yeah, 100 men have to be, this is nobody's going to sign up. You get out, you get your freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 636 says the 100 men need to have buy-in. Are you willing to buy in? Willing to put your life on the line?
That's what I said.
Most hockey teams can't get their roster to buy in.
Yeah.
That's why their coach is fired. You're going to need 100 to be on the same page?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Get 100 guys in there, and not all of them are. They're just going to fall in line.
5 of them would be trying to find a way out. You know what?
5.
Yeah,
25 will be looking to get out. You might have, I don't know, 10 that are agreeable. Then everybody else is, we should go with my game plan. So I'm taking the gorilla.
Even though you said that the gorilla would get tired.
He won't, because we'll all be fighting with each other.
I saw something on X, this person commenting on what we're talking about, saying that the gorilla should let one guy live so he can then tell the story.
Like 300. It's a good call. All right. So yeah, I'll take the gorilla. You guys?
I'm probably taking the gorilla as well.
Right.
Yeah, the gorilla.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Now, so Brandon says 100 Mike Tysons versus gorilla. That's one gorilla. I'd take the Tysons, but I don't think. There's only one Mike Tyson.
Only one.
He's older now.
He's much older.
What if you put the most 100 most just tough dudes that you know, a Mike Tyson?
That I think would change things.
I don't know.
You don't know. What do you mean?
It's a damn
MMA
gorilla.
fighters.
Human strength and gorilla strength, vastly different.
There is a reason why there's glue and there's gorilla glue, right?
But you have
One's stronger.
You have to wet whatever you're gluing.
Yeah, no.
You know?
Good luck.
Gotta get the gorilla wet. Rain. Mud.
That might make it worse.
I'll be slipping.
He wouldn't. You would.
Thanks,
His
Carey.
environment.
Thanks, Carey. I appreciate you. All right. How difficult is the road to the Cup in the Western Conference? We'll talk about that next on 101 ESPN.
It's time for a Blues playoff report presented by English Sweep Fireplace and Chimney Restoration. Schedule your chimney inspection at EnglishSweep.com.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We have your shot to score a pair of tickets to see Post Malone with Jelly Roll on May 13th at Busch Stadium. You can text in to win free tickets right now at 314-399-9646. But you have to have the correct answer to the trivia question we're about to ask you, which is, we mentioned earlier today, the Blues in the last 14 home games. What's the record? In the Blues' last 14 home games, what is their record? If you have the correct answer, and you're the 101st texter to the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646, you'll go see Post Malone and Jelly Roll. The tickets are now on sale, and you find out all the details and a bonus chance to register to win free tickets to the show at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 ESPN mobile app. With Andrew Marsh and Carey Davis, I'm Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Lane, and as we mentioned, this Game 5 is crucial tomorrow for both teams. Winnipeg has not been good following losses, as we talked in the opening segment, and the fact that the Blues have been so good at home. If the Blues can win tomorrow night in Winnipeg, it sets up perfectly for the Blues to close things out on Saturday and not have to go back up to Winnipeg. But how difficult is the road to the Cup in the Western Conference? Leading into last night's game between the Stars and Avalanche, every series in the Western Conference was 2-2. And it really doesn't, to me, it really doesn't matter what other teams do. It matters what the Blues do.
Yeah.
And I realize that every team can say that. But if the Blues were to get past the Jets, you would have beaten the best team in the NHL in the regular season.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
The Western Conference is stacked. It doesn't matter who your opponent is along the way. There are no freebies. And it's the NHL playoffs.
Yeah. I think the Western Conference, just watching it play out how it has, I picked the Dallas Stars to make it to the Stanley Cup final because they are a team that made it to the Western Conference final the last couple of years and ended up losing. But they also are a team that at times in that series, I thought the Avalanche really had the advantage, and somehow it has been going back and forth, and they were able to take the lead. Now they're up 3-2. I said earlier in the week, and I think Jamie thought I was crazy, the Minnesota Wild looked like they were the better team in that series. Vegas Golden Knights have tied that one up 2-2. And who the hell knows what's going on with the Oilers and the Kings?
Wow.
Who knows? Who can figure that out? So, but I think it does give you some sort of confidence, as you said, if you are the Blues and you do beat the best team, regular season wise, if you beat the best team in the league, that should give you confidence going forward to say that anything is possible and we can handle our business and take on the Stars or the Avalanche, whoever comes out of that series and whoever comes out of the other two series as well. Mm-hmm. We have a chance to do something special here. So, but you definitely have to take care of your business here. You have to take care of your business here in the first round with the Jets.
I think the Western Conference has been very fun. I thought, and you talked about the Minnesota Wild. Man, I thought the Wild were going to go up 3-1 in the series, and all of a sudden here comes Vegas. So you really don't know who's – I could totally see Colorado bouncing back and taking that series to 7 games. I think if Dallas comes out of that series, I think the Blues can beat them if they move on and beat the Jets.
It's too much. It feels like that series is going to wear them down, the back and forth, the Stars and the Avalanche.
I don't think the Stars have looked like the better team, kind of like you said.
Yeah.
Some of their wins, they had 2 wins in overtime. The game that they lost against Colorado, Colorado dominated them,
right.
But then Colorado didn't look that great. I think the way that, and like you said, Anthony, the Blues just need to focus on themselves. The way they're playing right now, it's fun to watch, and they can beat whoever they go up against.
Mm-hmm. If you beat the Jets after being down 2-0, you obviously have what it takes to make a deep run. And if we just go down the list in terms of what teams need or have had when it comes to winning a Stanley Cup, it's goaltending, it's scoring from various contributions, and it's obviously a solid blue line. And really, I'll just say goal prevention.
Yeah.
Like teams that have excellent goal prevention in the postseason are the ones that typically make deep run.
Out of the West, would you be surprised if any team made it to the Stanley Cup Final?
Minnesota. And they're giving hell to Vegas.
Minnesota was an overtime period away from being up 3-1.
Yeah, I just think they stink.
That's the crazy part, though. That's why I said it feels like it's up for grabs.
Minnesota was one of the better teams in the league for a majority of the season, and then they got banged up. Some injuries happened, and then they tailed off a little bit.
Do you believe in them?
I
know you believe in Kaprizov. I get that. But do you believe in Minnesota?
I could see them beating Vegas in this series. The one reason why I don't believe in them is because they play in Minnesota. That city is cursed.
Yeah,
that's the one reason why I don't believe in it.
Right, and you know that.
I do know that.
Yeah. Okay. But we're on the same page. You don't believe in Minnesota?
Not to make it to the Stanley Cup. No.
Other than that, Carey, to answer your question, Blues, Jets, Dallas, Colorado, Vegas. Am I forgetting anybody? Oh, Edmonton, and L.A.
Kings.
I mean, we saw Edmonton last year, so no, I wouldn't be shocked if any of those teams.
Everybody but the Wild.
Anybody but the Wild.
Man, the Wild almost. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds crazy.
I sound crazy?
Mm-hmm. The Wild almost beat the Golden Knights.
They did almost go up 3-1.
They were.
What are they now?
Well, it's 2-2.
And what about after tonight? I forgot Vegas plays tonight. And what about after tonight when Vegas is up 3-2? Huh?
Jeez.
Then it's probably over.
What about the East, though? Are you surprised at all how those series are going?
Am I surprised about the East? No. I don't think there's been a surprise yet. I mean, Carolina's going to close out what's their faces? The Devils. The Maple Leafs being up 3-1 against Senators. I actually picked the Senators because I played against the narrative, right?
Hey,
I played with the narrative.
Hey, you got to win 4 games, Anthony.
Yeah, they're not going to. So Maple Leafs being up 3-1, Hurricanes being up 3-1. That's going to be a gentleman's sweep.
The Senators could be up 3-1 right now. That series also a few overtime games.
Yeah,
you know.
And then the other, 3-1 Washington. I mean, all the favorites are up 3-1.
Yeah.
Except for the Lightning, and we know that the Panthers, having won the Cup last year, it's like, thanks for that draw. Like you couldn't have gotten a worse draw if you're the Lightning.
I'm a little shocked that series isn't knotted up at 2, based on how those two teams go back and forth. But Pittsburgh
lost their coach.
The Panthers, the Florida Panthers,
Pittsburgh Panthers.
They weren't playing the best of hockey. At the end of the year, but they look like the same team they did the last 2 seasons. Like, I would not be shocked at all if they go on and play in the Stanley Cup again.
If the Lightning played any other team in the Eastern Conference in the first round, you'd almost put them right into the second round if you're making your predictions. The fact that they drew Florida.
Good luck.
Good luck. All right, we need a new Gauntlet contestant, so you can text in 314-399-9646 if you're looking to play in the Gauntlet. Text into the Air Comfort Service text line. Maybe I'll have your opportunity next. If you ever notice that some dealers brag about huge inventory, but then when you go out to the actual dealership, the cars are scattered across several lots. You can't find the one that you're actually found online, and you're frustrated about that, then you got to go see my friends down at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. They've got over 800 new and used vehicles all in one location, one massive location right off I-55 in McNutton in Herculaneum. Just minutes from South County, and no scavenger hunt required. When you go to AutoCentersNissan.com and you find a vehicle that you fall in love with, they'll have it there right there on their lot. and it'll be ready and waiting for you to test drive it. Their sales staff is fantastic. They're a lot of fun. They've got cars, too, that are ready to move. You don't have to worry about overpaying at Auto Centers Nissan. Plus, new Nissans, you get that complimentary lifetime warranty and a 30-day return promise. So we're talking about serious peace of mind that you're not going to find anywhere else. Check them out online at AutoCentersNissan.com. You can browse that massive selection there. But when you do head out to Herculaneum, tell them Stalter sent you. It's Auto Centers Nissan. Big inventory, bigger savings, zero nonsense.
Warriors. 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter, 402. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Well, we've got Trevor on the line to play the Gauntlet. What's up, Trevor?
Just hanging out in my workshop, getting some stuff done.
All right, good man. Hey, we weren't gonna ask. All right.
What?
If like you're not working or like we're not gonna tell the boss. So you do what you do, Trevor.
I'm always off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. It's a pretty cool schedule.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Excellent. Well, we appreciate you listening. Thanks for playing today. Would you like to take on Marsh, Carey, or me?
I'm going to go Carey.
Carey Davis.
Good luck, Trevor.
Thank you. As you as well.
Thank you.
I just saw Mike Ryder do the clap, too. I love that. I love that. All right, so Carey's heading into the cone of silence with the one and only Mike Ryder. And, Trevor, you're going to tell Marsh to spin that wheel.
Spin that wheel, Marshy.
What are you hoping for, Trevor?
I know what the wheel does, so I'm going to just let it do its own thing.
Okay, so I love that. I also want to know after the wheel has stopped, and Marsh, has it stopped?
It has.
Okay, so now that the wheel has stopped, what were you hoping for, and what were you not hoping for?
Well, definitely not football. Kind of just straight up random because, I mean, we both have the weird shot of getting a 1-1 tie and going to a walk-off.
Okay. How do you feel about baseball?
I'm cool with baseball.
There you go. Well, you got baseball. So you're going to get 4 baseball-related questions. Carey will receive the same 4 baseball questions. Each question is worth 2 points unless you ask for the options. If you ask for the options, those questions become worth 1 point. Are you ready?
Bring it on.
All right, Trevor. Devin Williams has been removed from his role as Yankees closer after just 10 games with the club. Can you tell us the team with which the St. Louis native began his MLB career with?
Devin Williams. I'm going to have to go options.
San Diego Padres, Milwaukee Brewers, Kansas City Royals.
Devin Williams.
Yeah, Devin Williams, St. Louis native.
I'm going to go Brewers.
Final answer?
Yep.
Question number 2. Only one player has ever hit for the cycle in a postseason contest. Name him.
Oh, I know this. I know it. I don't know. I know it when I hear it. Gosh. Cycle. Oh, I can't think of it. I'll take the options.
Options are Brock Holt, Lou Gehrig, or Ted Williams.
I'm going to say Lou Gehrig. Final answer.
All right, Trevor, question number 3. Who is tied with Albert Pujols and Stan Musial for the second most top 2 MVP finishes?
Tied with Albert and who?
Stan the man, who is tied with Albert Pujols and Stan Musial for the second most top 2 MVP finishes. So players that have finished. No, just overall. Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So Albert and Stan are tied, or they're tied with this player for the second most top 2 MVP finishes.
Hank Aaron. Final answer.
Question number 3. Baseball will make its Olympic return in 2028. Historically, Cuba has captured the most gold medals with how many of them?
Oh, wow. All right. Cuba. I got to use the options. I know it'll probably be 3, 4, 5.
Your options are 3, 6, or 8.
6. Final answer.
All right. We're motioning Carey to come back from the cone of silence. Trevor, how are you feeling?
Not so great.
Yeah, that was kind of a tough one. We'll see how Carey does. Carey's walking in right now. He's got his propane tank. Thank you.
Water.
Not propel. Might be propel in the propane tank.
Could be.
And he's got a nice meal for himself.
Yep.
Looks like rice and chicken.
Close.
What does he have? One of those Mongo cups?
Yeah, oh yeah. One of those massive water bottles. All right, Carey, are you ready?
I'm ready.
You got baseball.
Oh, baseball. I love baseball.
Pack a lunch, which you did.
Yeah, obviously you did. You came prepared.
By the way, Carey's propane tank of water has all these different times on it.
Mm-hmm.
It says, you're almost there. Never say never. And he's already at 9 p.m. It says you made it.
Nice job,
I'm an
Carey.
overachiever.
Nice
Carey's
job.
an overachiever. Yeah.
Now, did you actually fill that up? Or?
Yeah, it's full this morning. Went to the
Look at you.
gym, started my day out, drank it about halfway down. I'll fill this back up, and I'll get about half of it done.
Wow, nice work.
The day is over. Yeah.
Nice.
I drink about 1.5. 2.5. Not a big deal. Not at all.
All right, Carey. Question 1.
Sure.
Devin Williams has been removed from his role as Yankees closer after just 10 games with the club. Can you tell us with which team this St. Louis native began his MLB career?
Oh, is this tricky? I mean, I wouldn't know. It would have to be the Milwaukee Brewers unless it was someone else. And in that case, I wouldn't know. So I'm just going to go Milwaukee Brewers. Final answer.
Question number 2. Only one player has ever hit for the cycle in a postseason contest. Name him.
I mean, you would assume it's someone that has some wheels on them. So maybe like a Ricky Henderson who had a lot of postseason games. You would feel like you would know if it was Derek Jeter. Okay, give me the options, please.
Options are Brock Holt, Lou Gehrig, or Ted Williams.
Yeah, Go with Brock, because I've never heard of him. Brock Holt? Brock Holt, you say?
Brock Holt.
Sure, him. Final answer.
Okay. Question 3. Who is tied with Albert Pujols and Stan Musial for the second most top 2 MVP finishes?
Top 2 MVP finishes.
Yeah.
So not, obviously, an MVP. Mike Trout has finished second a few times. More than that. It's been that. Oh, then you got like Barry Bonds was like also second a few times. Give me the options, please.
Hank Aaron, Babe Ruth, Mike Trout.
But like Hank Aaron would have probably won the ones that he was. I'm going to go with Mike Trout. That was my first thought. Mike Trout, final answer.
And question number 4. Baseball will make its Olympic return in 2028. Historically, Cuba has captured the most gold medals with how many of them?
Oh, hell. Cuba has recorded the most gold medals of any.
They've captured the most gold medals with how many of them?
In baseball. So it's every 4 years. Carry the 2, subtract. I'm just doing numbers now, Anthony. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's fine.
I would say it's either 3 or 4. 3 feels like a good number. And 4 would be a lot. We got some other people that I'm sure are winning there. So 2, 3, 4 are probably my options. 2 feels like it's not enough. 3, let's go 3. Final answer. Yep, like I did that. I'm not sure.
There was no options, right?
No options. I did the options in my head, Anthony.
Okay.
Were they 2, 3, and 4?
Well, we'll find out.
Devin Williams has been removed from his role as Yankees closer after just 10 games with the club. Can you tell us the team with which the St. Louis native began his MLB career? Carey said the Milwaukee Brewers. Trevor also went with the Milwaukee Brewers. Correct answer is?
Well, it is the Milwaukee Brewers.
But Carey didn't need the options. Carey up 2-1. Only one player has ever hit for the cycle in a postseason contest. Name him. Trevor, you went with Lou Gehrig. CD, you said, who the hell's Brock Holt? Give me him. Correct answer is?
That's Brock Holt.
Gotta be.
3-0. Or 3-1, excuse me. 3-1, CD. Who is tied with Albert Pujols and Stan Musial for the second most top 2 MVP finishes? Trevor, without the option, said Hank Aaron.
Oh.
CD went with Mike Trout with the options. Correct answer is?
It is Mike Trout.
4-1, Carey Davis. Baseball will make its Olympic return in 2028. Historically, Cuba has captured the most gold medals with how many? Trevor with the options said 6.
Oh.
CD did a whole bunch of math and wound up with 3. Correct answer is?
It's 3.
Trevor.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose.
Trevor, I got to be honest, man. Unfortunately, you were Winnipeg in Game 3, and Carey was the Blues. I mean, it was. You had no. I don't think anybody was going to beat this guy today.
Dude, that was brutal.
Wow.
Congrats.
I appreciate it, Trevor. Good job.
Good work, dude.
Good job.
Carey Davis. Sorry, Trevor. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing.
Appreciate it.
No, you guys are the best.
Thanks, man.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Trevor.
you. Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, take care, boys.
See ya. I almost feel bad for Trevor. That was like he had no shot.
Oh, he ran into a buzzsaw. I mean, Anthony, you see this guy's propane tank?
Seriously.
He's gone above and beyond.
You know he's done
already at 9 p.m.
You know he's done. He does 1.5 of those.
Yeah, I do.
So I've heard.
Yep. Every now and then.
Anthony, he's 5
sometimes I get
hours
two.
ahead right now.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Wow.
5 hours ahead and 5 points ahead of Trevor today.
Who the hell is Hank? Who? What's his name? No.
Lou.
No,
I'm sorry.
Hank Aaron.
Brock,
No,
No,
Brock
Hank
Holt.
Aaron.
Brock
Holt.
I remember Brock
Yeah, he
Holt.
played for Boston.
I don't remember Brock Holt. What year was it?
ALDS Game 3 win over the Yankees in 2018.
Oh, man.
Brock Holt.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
Baseball Reference doesn't know who Brock Holt is.
Yeah, give me that guy.
Wow.
No, it's the
You did the old Stalter there.
It had to be. That one was obvious for me.
That was the most obvious Stalter
Yeah.
one.
Sometimes
I feel
they're
like
not
they need
as
to throw
obvious.
more Stalter ones in there, but they're wrong.
Give,
No,
give 2 guys you don't know, because that was.
Yeah, I mean,
I was
Lou
going that
Gehrig
way
and Ted
regardless.
Williams.
Nah, no,
like
hell no.
clearly it's Brock Holt.
Yeah, gotta be.
Let's see here: Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, or Brock Holt. I'll take Brock Holt, please.
Every time.
Yep. Nice job, Carey.
Thank you.
By the way, for those scoring at home, Carey 6 answered every question correctly, plus 2 non-options. Trevor with only 1 today.
we need like a Brock Holt or a Shoestring Steven, but spelled with a PH.
Right.
You know?
Schoolboy Row.
Schoolboy Row.
That's hilarious.
Aaron Judge hasn't accomplished this. His feat hasn't been accomplished in Schoolboy Row.
One-eyed Lenny.
Yeah.
Old double sock wearing Williams.
He's got. He used to wear 2 socks on each leg.
Definitely him.
I don't know
why.
I don't know why that's so funny to me right now.
Some people wear stirrups, but not
old 2 sock Williams.
Oh, man.
I mean, how fun would it be just to go back and relive some of that? In that old time announcing voice that Marsh does so well.
He does a great job.
Why don't more people wear that? You know, what if we all wore suits to games?
Right. Suits to full
Everywhere.
suits to games.
Full suits. We're smoking darts in the stands.
I mean, you're going out, right? If you're going out back in the day, you're stepping out of your house. You're dressed to the nines.
It's 100 degrees outside.
100 degrees. You're in full polyester or cotton.
My
right?
great-grandfather wore a suit every day.
That's awesome.
Every day. He used to come to my football games at Illinois in early fall.
Yeah.
Still late
Still
summer.
warm.
It's 100 degrees outside. He got a full suit on.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Every day he walked out of the house, he had a suit on.
That's incredible.
Like,
Meanwhile, I mean, we all look semi-homeless walking
half
out.
the time. Sometimes I come in here, I'm like,
Yeah. I mean, half the time we're not trying.
Nah.
Let's be honest. And I'm only trying now because we're on YouTube.
Somewhat try.
And I'm wearing a plain white T-shirt today.
Someone back in the day, they show up wearing a jersey. What is this guy doing?
Look at this guy. Look at this freak.
This guy thinks he's on the team.
You're no Schoolboy Row. Second baseman of our whatevers. All right. How much runway are you giving the young players for the Cardinals? We'll talk about it next on 101 ESPN. really. Marsh just dropped a great line on me. He goes 3, 2, 1, and turns on the mics.
Good luck.
How much runway are you giving the young players to the Cardinals? All of it.
All of it.
Right? All of it.
Hey, do your thing, man.
You stink.
Go do your thing.
This is the only good thing about when the only advantage when you stink. When you stink as a team, you can give a long runway to younger players.
And you should.
Yes.
They actually should have done this years ago. But, tomato, cry over spilled milk.
Nah, I mean, it's over. It's over.
With. You move on.
Yes.
And so they are here now. And you give them all the room that they need. You give them the opportunities to fail at the major league level. You give them the opportunities to succeed. You give them the opportunities to go through slumps and figure their way out of it. You give them the opportunity to have, 6, 7, 8, 10 game hit streaks and deal with that success.
Totally.
All of being a young player is learning how to deal with failure and then learning how to deal with success and then learning how to deal with the failure again.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Because it is going to go.
I did it.
I stink again.
I did it.
And it happens until you finally find the groove where you're comfortable and confident enough to say, all right, I ain't hit the ball in 5 days. Not a big deal. I'll get a hit soon.
Yeah.
Like we saw that with Wilson Contreras. He's a veteran. He's been through the ups and downs. He's had, the times where he's gone weeks without seeing the ball well enough to put a good swing on it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no panic in that because your track record says eventually I'm going to come back to what my averages are. As a young player, you tend to have the peaks and valleys,
right?
Because you're still learning how to manage. You're still, and it goes beyond just the game. You're still learning how to manage your friend group. You're still learning how to manage your girlfriend or your young wife, or if you got young kids, or your house. And okay, am I going to hang out tonight, or am I going to study film? Like there is a maturation process that not only takes place on the field, but it takes place off of the field as well. How to say no to some of your family. How to, when family does come in town, okay, we're staying here. Everybody can't stay at my house. I got hotel rooms. Like it's a lot of moving parts when you're a young player and you want to just be able to lock in and just do one thing, but life don't stop just because you play professional sports. Right. Like life still happens. So figuring out how to get all those moving parts to move in the direction that you need it to go so that you can be the best you can be on the field.
For sure.
Is the hardest part. And once you start to figure all of that out, where it's seamless, where when your family comes in town, they know exactly what to do. Nobody has to bother you. They don't have to interrupt your work day or your process of preparation or any of that. It just takes time for everyone to figure it out, though.
Right. And if you're the Cardinals, you just broke it down from a player standpoint. If you're the Cardinals, do you now have an opportunity to watch for over a full season how a guy is going to respond, as opposed to you think that you're a contender like the Cardinals believed last year, which was just asinine, and I mean it lacked awareness on every level. But you thought you were a contender last year because you signed, Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson and Brandon Crawford.
Did you just drop that and left it there for us to chew on it for a second?
Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody's awake. And then you got young players, and you're like, well, we got to win, so we're going to send down Jordan Walker for most of the year because we got to win. And you won 83 games, you accomplished squat.
And then you just slowed down the process.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
that's
now,
what you accomplished.
So now, this offseason, you signed Phil Maton, probably because the league called you and said, hey, this doesn't look good.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
So you signed him, but otherwise, you admitted what you should have admitted a year ago, that you needed to jumpstart the process of a youth movement.
Yeah.
So Victor Scott goes 0 for Gopher for 2 weeks or 3 weeks in May.
Mm-hmm.
Who gives a fast lane about that?
Nobody.
Let him go.
Not let him go.
Sorry.
Not let him go. Let him play.
Let him play.
Let him play.
Let him play.
Yeah.
Jordan Walker, let him go through the ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have a full season. You have a full season of evaluation. And is it the pressure cooker moments, like in the playoffs, that you want to evaluate? Yeah. But you got to You got to walk before you can run.
You got to earn the right to get to there.
So
to that spot.
How much runway should the young players receive for the Cardinals? A blank ton. Let them roll.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's Fastlane on 101 at ESPN. Congratulations to Droid FX, by the way. He won the Post Malone tickets. Way to go, Droid. See, it pays to listen to us. I mean, not actually.
I was going to say, I don't think it actually pays. I think that's illegal, isn't it?
Payola.
Yeah.
It's called.
I thought that's when they paid you to do something for them.
Or they give you stuff.
That's not to be confused.
That's plugola.
Yeah. Like they payola. They pay you to spin their records back in the day
with Schoolboy Row.
Is that the same as crapola?
No, that's way different.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's way different. Yeah. Good question, the Mush. Tee off with the morning after at the return of the Dotem Golf Tournament presented by Michelob Ultra, May 29th and 30th at Oak Valley Golf Course and Resort. Get your foursome together for a full day out on the course with TMA, including complimentary breakfast from Donut Drive-In, lunch from Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, all your Michelob Ultra, the 100 West Dental closest to the pin competition, a long drive contest courtesy of Pondoff's Anonymous Recovery Podcast, an after party with food from Texas Roadhouse on Thursday and Super Smokers Barbecue on Friday. Registration is now open with a portion of proceeds benefiting the St. Louis Hero Network in honor of Brian McKenna. Find all the Dotem info now at 101espn.com. We've got part one of our Sports Six-Pack coming up, so if you have a question for us, 314-399-9646 to the Air Comfort Service text line. Send those questions there. Part one, Sixer, next. Hey, if you're watching the NBA playoffs and you're watching certain players and you're like, I knew that guy was going to go off with points, the matchup was too good, then you got to play Underdog Fantasy. Underdog just became one of the best places to make your entries during the basketball playoffs with their extender promo. With the extender, you can play your way to increasingly bigger boost each round of the playoffs. Start a playoff series by using your game one boost and continue boosting each subsequent game to unlock the next one. Then the longer the series goes, the bigger boost, the bigger the payouts. You can play for as little as $1, win up to 1,000 times your money. Just download the app, use my promo code Anthony, and you'll get a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit at Underdog. Again, that promo code is Anthony. But when you play, again, just choose higher or lower on a player's stats. Doesn't have to be NBA, or their extender promo runs through the NBA. So want to take advantage of that. But you can play hockey, you could play UFL, you could play NASCAR, golf. They've got it all. Baseball, of course. You got it all at Underdog Fantasy. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama, Nebraska, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. That includes Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/extend.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals lose to the Cincinnati Reds last night by a final score of 3-1. They'll take on the Reds once again tonight as Miles Michaelis takes the mound going up against Brady Singer. First pitch is at 5:40. The Blues take on the Winnipeg Jets tomorrow night for Game 5 of this first-round matchup. Pregame for that one right here on 101 ESPN starts at 7:30 with the puck drop at 8:30. We have our Sports Six-Pack coming up next, so if you want to text us in a question, do so using the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Sports Six-Pack coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is refreshed by the Finnish Long Drink, Finland's best-kept secret. A sparkling citrus beverage made with real liquor. Visit thelongdrink.com.
It's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Time for part one of the Sports Six-Pack. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. If you have any questions like this one that Marsh is going to read.
Question number 1.
All right. Thrill Fan 22 wants to know, do you think the Atlanta Falcons will fire Jeff Ulbrich? Is it Ulbrich or
Ulbrich?
Ulbrich.
Yep, Ulbrich.
After his son prank called Shedeur Sanders at the draft.
The Falcons have already said that they will not, although I think they should. And
Really?
not because of his son. He can figure out what he wants to do for punishment for his son. I think they should fire him because he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And he was only hired because he's Raheem Morris's buddy.
Oh, and he's not going to get fired.
Exactly.
You know.
So, again, I don't think they will.
That's unfortunate for old Jeff because I don't think he had anything to do with that.
Well, close your laptop.
Well, maybe he did. Maybe his son opened it and went through his personal information. You're a grown.
You got caught off his hands then.
Listen, no, you're.
That's how they would have handled it in the schoolboy Rose days. I'll tell you that.
What do they do?
Cut off
his hands.
I don't know.
They didn't have laptops back then, though. Go ahead, CD. I'm sorry.
Nah,
I
I'm
cut you
saying
off.
he's in college. He's 21. He knows right from wrong. He wanted to be funny. He wanted to go viral. The thing that's bothering me, Jax Ulbrich, his son, was the one that gave him the number. He's not the one that made the call. Where the hell's the other kid? He wasn't, from the videos they showed, he was on the couch. And the other kid was the one pretending to be Mickey Loomis. If I'm not mistaken.
Gotcha. Yeah, he was the one on the couch.
Yeah, he was the one on the couch. They pointed the arrow at him. He kind of got up it worked.
Yeah.
The other kid was on the phone doing
pretending to be
prank
Mickey
call.
Loomis from New Orleans.
Where the hell are you?
Right.
Because, hey, I ain't in this alone. That kid should be the one apologizing. Well,
you can't impersonate people on the phone. I'm sure you can. I'm not a lawyer. But.
I don't think he needs to be arrested. But I would assume that Shedeur and him are roughly the same age.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, man, Samson Nakua is necessary.
Did you say Samson Nakua is necessary? So slapping somebody?
Slap the hell out of him.
Yeah.
Same age.
One slap.
All it takes. I think one slap
and then
is a life corrector. I do. I think there are some people in their lives that should have gotten the hell slapped out of them at some point in life, and it would have corrected the path.
That's a good call.
You doing stupid stuff, just now.
So
that'll be okay.
Jason from the Snake Pit brings I mentioned this yesterday, and I think that this is interesting too. Jason says one report had the same kids pranking Tyler Warren, the tight end for Penn State, as well. That was my thought, because when the reports started coming out that Tyler Warren was also pranked same way. It had to be the same kids.
I'm
then.
sure.
That was my first. That was my first take.
He took more than one, but we didn't have the video. We didn't have the video that Shedeur had, where it was his end of it, and then we didn't have the end of those young people. I wanted to call them idiots, but they're still young.
They're idiots.
It's not smart to video. If you're
Did you
doing
do that?
something,
Did you do that at 21?
I mean, call somebody.
Yeah.
No,
on draft night?
No, I would never do that.
And act like you're your team.
That's you got something. It's something.
You gotta get slapped.
Hey, I'm all for that. One slap, like line up, slap the hell out of them. You're forgiven, and walk away.
But one slap from each person.
Each person. Yeah,
so like Shedeur can step up.
Yeah, and Tyler Warren can slap the hell out of you. Like I think that's okay.
I do too.
Yeah,
I think all
that's a
pranks
reasonable
should be that
punishment.
way.
Not all.
All of them.
No.
Like if you prank another, because like pranks are easy. I hate pranks because pranks are easy to pull off. The other person is not walking around thinking, "I'm going to get,"
or be gullible.
They don't even have to be. You can fully prank somebody that obviously is not prepared for what you're about to do. So I think all pranks,
like
are slappable.
Winning tickets to the Super Slam.
Did that happen to you?
John Cena. Have you seen that prank call video?
I ain't seen it either.
It is hilarious. It's probably one of my favorite. The lady who gets prank called by a radio station, I believe, and she won tickets to WWE Super Slam. And she's like, no, I'm sorry, like, we don't promote wrestling in this household.
Nice.
And they proceeded to call her about 5 more times. And she went off. And every time she tried to talk, all you hear is...
Well, at that point, just hang up the phone, man. Like, that's on her if she keeps picking up the phone.
Do you support the U.S. military? But yes. Then you should come down to WWE Super Slam.
Was it an actual prank or?
Yeah, no, it was a prank call.
Was it like
I believe the husband was in on it.
Okay.
And yeah. Like that stuff's funny.
So like Splashback Deuces, like Anthony Stalter's biggest fan, Ira. Very funny. I don't know if you guys don't remember that.
I don't know that.
In the Gauntlet, they had comedian Greg Warren act like he was a super fan of me, and I'm like, this is weird. Something's off. But I don't know. I didn't know that it was a comedian doing it. And then everybody, like Michelle was in on it, and Randy, or not Randy, but Jamie was in on it, and they pranked me. They got me good. I should be able to slap Jamie Rivers without repercussion. What was the question?
No, we answered it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, fire him. Yeah. I think he should be fired.
I took it a whole different way.
I think Jeff Hellebuyck should be fired.
No. And I think, Marshy, I told you what I learned yesterday. He hates the Falcons.
100%.
Question 2, please.
Lou Anarumo was available, and you went with this guy.
Anthony Warren.
The Jets defense went from top 10 to bottom 10 because of this you-know-what.
He was working hard.
No, he wasn't.
He was.
Clearly wasn't.
He was. He was trying. He was doing his best.
We're on to question 2, Anthony.
Thank you.
Cincinnati.
He was doing his best. He was the one, too, apparently stood on the table for the Falcons to trade up for Pierce and then want him to do it again for the safety out of Oklahoma, Bowman. So usually you got to trade up. Who are you?
He was busy last year. He was the DC. They were good. Then he had to take over the head coaching responsibilities.
And they got bad.
Well, he couldn't do both jobs, clearly. He's just got one
Don't
now.
you defend Jeff Hellebuyck.
Leave him be.
Don't you defend him.
I will defend him because he got a idiot for a son.
That we can agree on. Go ahead, Mark.
We're on to question number 2.
Yeah.
You guys like Jamie? All right, for the 314. Speaking of Shedeur Sanders, does Shedeur have a legit path to make the team coming in 5th on the depth chart?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be 5th. I think looking at that roster, and I said this yesterday, you got Kenny Pickett, who was on his 3rd team. He was a first-round draft pick. This is a 3rd team. You got Joe Flacco, who is, I think, almost 40. If not, he's got to be late 30s, almost 40. He's bounced around. He's been on 4 teams in the last 4 years or 4 teams in the last 3 years. I don't know. He's been on a lot of teams in the last few years. You got Dylan Gabriel, who was drafted ahead of him, who I think Shedeur is better than. And then you got Shedeur. Deshaun Watson is hurt. He retore his Achilles in the offseason, restructured his contract so they wouldn't cut his butt because they were trying to he was walking around not wearing his boot when he was supposed to, and he retore his Achilles. And so he's not playing this year. So you got Joe Flacco, who's long in the tooth, Kenny Pickett on his third team in 3 or 4 years, and Dylan Gabriel, who was drafted ahead of him, who I think we all can agree, if you watched both of them play, Shedeur is a better quarterback. Now, will he get in? Did he learn from this experience of being drafted in the 5th round as opposed to being drafted in the 1st or 2nd round? Did he learn anything? Because there were thoughts and rumors that maybe he wasn't likable. Mm-hmm. And I tell people all the time, it's not always what you know, it's who you know, and who knows you. And if people like you, they tend to hire you, even if you stink at your job. Right? You just said that.
Yes.
So, I think it matters if he learned from that situation, goes in there with a demeanor that he's going to work his butt off and earn the right to be the starting quarterback. Talent-wise, I think he's better than all 3 of those guys.
Yeah.
Only one that's better than him talent-wise, I don't know what the hell is wrong with him, is Deshaun Watson. But he's not playing. So, yeah, he could. Will he? Hell if I know.
Yeah. No, he's not. He's done. Deshaun Watson will never play football again.
I'm talking about Shedeur.
Oh, well, he probably won't either.
Question number 3.
Thanks.
All right, this one comes from Sambo.
Hey, Sambo.
After the Blues win tomorrow night and then again on Friday and put the series to bed, who is the MVP of the series for the Blues?
Jordan Bennington. Hey, have you watched this guy, Anthony?
I think it's got to be Jordan Bennington.
There you go. Marshy?
I'm going to go with Cam Fowler.
You love
That's
Cam
not a
Fowler.
bad pick.
Cam Fowler is your favorite player.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that was an incredible trade.
It certainly
Right?
was. That a lot of people mocked.
They did mock it.
At least one guy.
They mocked it a lot, Anthony. I mean, let's just look at the Stanley Cup playoffs here, all right? Cam Fowler has 8 points, right? He's a defenseman, Anthony. He's
Still
5
leading?
points in 1 game.
Still leading the league.
I'm checking that right
A
now.
lot of people saying Fowler in the snake pit. Ryan Crawford.
He is 1
Fowler.
point behind.
G-Dog, Joe Boo.
Yeah, the leader.
Russie,
I like
Fowler, Splashback Deuce, Cam Fowler. Actually, Can Fowler.
Can Fowler?
Can Fowler. Must be Cam's brother.
Can or Cam? No, I think it's Fowler for me. I think Jordan Bennington is doing exactly what we expected him to do.
And you're punishing him then. for
No.
that. It's kind of like how Bill Belichick and Andy Reid won't win Coach of the Year when they're rolling because you expect that of them. You're punishing them for being great.
I think there's a lot of players that are playing fantastic, Anthony.
CD, did you see what he did? He did what you recommended that all people do when
What's
they get
that?
a question that they don't want to answer. Instead of saying no comment,
You answer it.
you answer it,
Yeah.
but you don't really answer it.
You answered with a non-answer.
Yeah, be like, go ahead, ask me any sports question.
How do you think the Falcons are going to do this year?
Falcons play on Sunday, and on Sundays, that's when you play football, and you just never know what's going to happen on Sundays. One of my favorite days.
All right, now you ask me a question.
Marsh, how do you think the Blues are going to do tomorrow night in Winnipeg?
I think the Blues are going to play full 60 minutes. I think they're going to come out with a victory. And I think we are going to have a fun show come Thursday afternoon.
That was an answer.
That was an answer.
Oh.
That's bulletin board material for Winterpeg now.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You can't say that. You got to be
Okay.
nondescript.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the Blues are going to go into Winnipeg. I think they're going to shove it down the Jets' throats.
More bulletin board.
Yeah. Let me try one more time. I think the Blues are going to play the Jets on Wednesday night.
Yep. Perfect.
that's
Yep.
it.
There
That's it.
you go.
That's it.
Come out with a 3-2 series lead.
More. All right. Part 2 of our Sports Six Pack is next. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. Feel free to send in your questions. Plenty of time left. Part 2 of the Six are next.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is refreshed by the Finnish Long Drink, Finland's best-kept secret. A sparkling citrus beverage made with real liquor. Visit thelongdrink.com.
Part 2 of the Sports Six-Pack is right now, 314-399-9646 to the Air Comfort Service tax line. Marsh, question 4, please.
Question number 4.
All right, Anthony, let's see if you can take that advice that you were dishing out and answer this next question. From the 636, what's the best thing about St. Louis? And what's the most annoying thing about St. Louis?
The best thing about St. Louis is the passionate sports fan base. The energy is incredible, especially for Cardinals home openers. And when they used to make the playoffs were always awesome. The playoff vibe now around St. Louis with the Blues in it, second to none. It really is awesome. I've been in other places. You lived in other places. I do think this is second to none. The most annoying is, I think, if I'm being serious here, I think St. Louis sometimes a little stuck in its ways. I think it doesn't allow us to have our minds open for new things. It takes us forever to get certain things passed and have that forward movement with companies. And I think that I was listening to Tim McKernan and TMA today, and they were talking about when the Rams left, and I thought Tim McKernan brought up a great point about it wasn't just Stan Kroenke. There was things that the city of St. Louis, based on some of the dome qualifications and the guidelines and all stuff, that the city of St. Louis wasn't more proactive. I think St. Louis can be more proactive in a lot of ways. So I think that is annoying. Also the cheese. Carey?
Wow. The last one was felt like a shot.
What? Potholes.
Thomas says
also,
potholes.
Yeah, Thomas.
Yeah. Potholes are everywhere.
Dude,
I just want you to know that.
Yeah.
Not just in St. Louis.
Waterboy goes, the Rams left.
A few years ago.
Well, you would have known if you would have listened to the latest episode of the Gridiron Guys, right?
Come on.
We haven't talked about that in a while. The Rams leaving. I don't know, man. I agree with you on the backwards mindset at times, the lack of advancing and moving forward. There's been talks of a city-county merger for years. It would change some dynamics here in the city of St. Louis, but people are stuck in their ways. You want to have 500 different municipalities, 500 different townships, whatever. It's just kind of ridiculous. Different mayors for every city you drive in. Mm-hmm. Different rules and regulations, different police departments. Yeah, it's kind of weird. So that's the mindset thing, I think, is a huge thing, a negative. I mean, the positive is it's St. Louis, man. It's a wonderful city. You're from here.
What? You didn't answer it.
I did.
You just did.
You just said St.
Everything.
Louis.
Everything.
Okay.
Yeah, it includes a free zoo.
I mean, who doesn't want that?
Free-ish zoo.
No, it's free to get in.
Yeah.
To get in, not to park.
That. We
Park
just
or eat.
Take
Park
the
on
bus.
the street, Anthony.
Take
Or
the bus.
drink.
You can bring your own water.
That is true.
Yeah. You don't need to eat. You only be there for 2.5 hours. You're going to pass out? What's it, 95 degrees outside?
We're trying to bring in free agents, Anthony. Stop it.
I remember when Madeline was, she must have been like 2.5, and Killian was still a baby. And we Chris and I are like, we got to take the kids to the zoo. You do the whole parent thing where you're like, we have got to take these kids to the zoo. We are horrible parents. we haven't taken them to the zoo. So we went to the zoo. One of the hottest days in St. Louis. And we are just sweat. We're drenched. Killian's crying. Madeline's crying. And we're like, no, we're doing this. Look at the penguins, Madeline. It stinks in here, but look at them.
You enjoy this.
Yeah.
They're ready to go. They didn't give a damn about them penguins, did they?
No, not at all. Actually, she did. Madeline did. Killian couldn't tell you anything. He was an infant.
Why am I here?
Yeah, why am I here?
It's hot.
It's hot.
People that are supposed to take care of me.
Come on. I'm baking in here.
You all do it here.
Idiots.
Bacon like a toasted cheeser. It's so hot.
Question number 5.
Anthony, do you find it annoying when you say something and people think you said something else?
It's one of the things that I hate the most, quite frankly.
Is it?
Which leads us to our next question. We got this email earlier, and I'll walk you through this, okay? First of all, rule number 1, boys, in the fast lane.
Nobody's safe.
Nobody's safe. That's correct. So, Bill, earlier today, 2:21 p.m.
We just started.
2:21 p.m. Sends an email to our guy, Mike Ryder. You just ran a Remember When segment. Do you have this segment ready to go?
I have it ready.
You just ran a Remember When segment. Your announcer said Pat Maroon scored with 90 seconds left in regulation against Dallas 2019. Really? Let's play this.
On this day back in 2019, the Blues would take a 2-1 series lead in the second round matchup against the Dallas Stars. Jaden Schwartz would score first. Dallas would tie things up in the first period. Then Tyler Bozak would give the Blues the lead in the second. Dallas would even up the game 2 more times in the third period. But Pat Maroon with the game winner with less than 90 seconds to play in regulation.
So that got old Bill hot and bothered. What in the fast lane is going on here? Yeah, that was game 3. They played 7 that series, if you remember. And Bill, you do, because what you're referring to, of course, was game 7. I'm a hometown hero, baby.
Yeah, on May 7th.
Yeah.
Of 2019.
This was game 3. Mike Ryder, very nice, polite, professionally says game 3 was on 4/29, which is what the Remember When segment was.
Which is today.
Yes, correct. So that's why we're doing the Remember When, not game 7, and he included the box score. That was what Mike responded with. Bill did not respond. Bill did not respond. This falls into the we're only responsible for what we say, not what you hear.
Yeah, that's a...
And if you're going to be a jerk, Carey, not you, Carey, but Bill, if you're going to be a jerk and get all hot and bothered and become all keyboard warrior on us, at least know what game it was.
Yeah, if you remember, Anthony, I know
I agree, G-Dog. I can't say that on air, but I agree.
That was when Essa Lindell fell down and was annoyed that he thought he was tripped.
Right.
And then Pat Maroon scored and didn't know he scored, and then he had his arms open wide like he was a member of Creed as he skated into the corner.
Open. Yeah.
Oh, that's them.
Yes.
With arms wide open.
That's correct. That's Creed.
Under the sunlight.
Yes. Marsh
Welcome to this place, Carey.
Yeah. Marsh sang a rendition of that really, South County has never been the same. Let's be honest.
That place was jumping, Anthony.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah.
It was that night. Brandon says Anthony is hot and bothered. This guy is not hot and bothered. I agree, Brandon. Yes, you're absolutely right.
This job has taught me something, though. It has actually opened up something for me. Like in my regular, everyday relationships and dealing friendships, people don't listen well.
No.
And so you say things and you hear them when they come out of your mouth, but somehow some things get lost in translation. When you're talking and someone else's ears hears what you're saying, they don't always hear it correctly. So I don't argue with people anymore about what I said.
Right.
Clearly, Bill is an example of that. Because I say things all the time, Anthony. And then somebody comes back and says, that's not what you said. Damn it, I just said it. So I think it's what I said. No, you said. All right.
That's what you heard there, champ.
All righty.
Bill wrote that at 2:21. Mike Ryder, 2:33 is when he responded. So Mike Ryder had the decency. By the way, he does at least 1,000 jobs in the station.
1,000 a number?
Yeah.
Or is it 1,000?
You heard me, damn it. You know who I am.
Anthony, I think you said something different.
Take 2. By the way, Mike Ryder does about 500 jobs within the building. 500, easily. Responded in roughly 10 minutes. We gave Bill 2.5 hours to do the right thing. And you didn't, Bill. So,
Bill, we're sorry.
You be better.
It's tough.
All right. Feel that way.
Question number 6.
Anthony, do you think the Blues, and this is from the 314, do you think the Blues have created lofty or unrealistic expectations for the Cardinals this season?
Interesting. Let's get into that next on 101 ESPN. Well, Marsh at the end of the Sports Six Pack asked a question from the 314. about the Blues and whether or not they've created lofty expectations for the Cardinals. And Marsh, I would imagine, you read the text, but I would imagine because the Blues were able to make the playoffs and now everybody is all hyped out of their minds, and for good reason, that this puts maybe higher expectations on the Cardinals.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about that earlier with the discussion about, could the Cardinals potentially mimic what the Blues did late in the year? I also wonder if fans see Jim Montgomery as sort of the catalyst that pushed this team into a different direction, and people already have their fits with Ollie Marmol. If that in itself makes them want a new direction quickly to turn things around. And we've talked about it multiple times. Is this on Ollie Marmol? Is it not on Ollie Marmol? Everyone has their own opinion on that.
Right.
But I think what the Blues did definitely could put some interesting or lofty or whatever the text said, those expectations on the Cardinals, even if it is apples to oranges, as we were talking about earlier. But this is like coming from the fans, right?
Right.
So what the fans think is ultimately, I don't want to say it's gospel, but they're the people that pay their hard-earned money to watch these teams.
Yeah, I think March. I think the key is what you said. It's from the fans' perspective. From the fans' perspective, yes, I think things get amplified because you sit there and you watch the Blues conduct their business. The way not only they acquire players and they build their roster, but also how they speak to the fan base. You watch the Blues and listen to how they speak to the media, how they present themselves, and you're like, wow, they care about hockey and they care about us. I've missed the playoffs, and by the way, the game has been postponed. Doubleheader tomorrow for the Cardinals and Reds. So there will be no Cardinals-Reds game tonight. Game has been postponed. Doubleheader tomorrow at the Great American Small Park. So no Cardinals game. But with the way the Blues have handled themselves, they present as almost, hey, we're trying our best every single offseason, every single trade deadline to compete. Doesn't always work out that way. But when you go into an offseason like the Blues did and acquire Broberg and Holloway, gets the fans excited. Don't forget, opening night at Enterprise Center was like, the buzz around the Blues was electric this year. They've earned that, and then they make the playoffs. And what do? It's natural. If you're a fan, you turn around and you say, are you watching this, Cardinals? Inside the Cardinals front office, I don't think it does a damn thing, though. I really don't. What about you, Carey?
I think I don't know if it plays a part into what the Cardinals are doing. I think they are on two totally different time frames in terms of, I think that's the best way for the Cardinals to be. I don't think you can allow the pressure of what the Blues, like you should almost feel some of the pressure off of you that the Blues did make the playoffs. It should be like a pressure valve release. Like, whew, okay, goodness. They don't have all the eyeballs aren't on us come May 1st. June, like, keep playing, Blues, keep winning, keep balling, maybe do your thing. Like, it takes eyeball, because this is not a product that is ready to win at this moment. And so I don't think that, and to answer the question, I don't think it shifts the mindset of the Cardinals. Like, oh God, the Blues are winning, we got to win now. Blues fans are Blues fans, Cardinal fans are Cardinal fans. Some of them cross over, and then some don't. Like, some people don't watch hockey at all, and conversely, some people don't watch baseball. So there are Cardinal fans that are, at least we got something to watch. The Blues are having success. They're happy to be, but I don't think it moves the needle for the Cardinals. I don't think it makes them speed up, and I don't think it should. I don't think it should make them speed up their timeline.
Yeah, right. Because look, let's be honest. It's not only different sports, and again, we're not talking from the fan perspective now. We're talking from inside the building. Not only is baseball and hockey, obviously they're two different sports, but we're talking about a cap sport compared to a non-cap sport. Different, with the market size and the way that baseball operates, where baseball just wants to see a few teams try to win each year and not have it be balanced at all. Thanks, Dodgers.
You're welcome.
It's different. So if you're the Cardinals, you can't look down the street and say, well, the Blues are doing X, Y, and Z. We've got to copy that. But from a fan perspective, you're still saying you got to do better than what you have been. Well, and they're right.
To Carey's point about, the eyeballs not being on the team, to me, like, that's a concern if I'm in the front office because that means there's no butts in the seats.
Yeah.
But you knew that coming in, which is why you didn't.
Right, you shouldn't be happy about that.
But that's what you knew coming in.
I don't. I agree.
It's not great down there.
No. I completely agree. I was there on Friday night. It's weird. It really is. It's weird. And it was a moment where the game was tight. Helsley comes in, stadium, you got the lights off, the red. Like, that's a cool scene.
Still feels.
And it was quiet AF. Like, the fans that were there made as much noise as they could. But you're right. It's not a great scene. But I would rather have the Cardinals hit a reset for now as opposed to trying to fool themselves in the fan base doing what they did a year ago. Coming off that horrendous season, to go into the offseason and say, we're going to sign Lance Lynn, Kyle Gibson, and Brandon Crawford. You're welcome, St. Louis. We're back. That's the slap in the face to stay on theme today. So I'm fine with them resetting, taking it on the chin in order to get better and be more sustainable moving forward.
We had a text from the 636. The Blues winning the Stanley Cup in 2019 was the worst thing that could happen to the Cardinals. Given the direction of the Cardinals organization, coupled with the Blues' success, the city became more of a hockey town real quick. That's facts. Do you think that's a fact?
No. And I don't think just because you say that's facts, it means it's facts.
Yeah, that I agree. That is a fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's. I think
for now it's a hockey town.
I don't think so. Well, I think it's still. I think. You know how you can still love someone and not be in their presence? I think that's what Cardinal fans are. But as soon as that Cardinal franchise turns the corner, it'll be back to normal. That's what I think.
Normal?
Yeah.
Wow.
Normal. Butts in seats, Anthony.
Yeah,
People
but
showing up.
I almost take that as you saying it's normal that the Cardinals are like the leaders in St. Louis.
Yeah, they are. How long have you been here, Anthony?
I've been here since 2010.
Your whole life. And you know that's how it goes.
You're not wrong.
I think, you said...
But I do think the Cardinals have lost some of their luster here. Go ahead, Marsh.
The Cardinals, like you said, Carey, when they come back around and they're normal again, quote-unquote normal, the fans will show up. And I think right now, though, and maybe I fall into this category, when is that going to happen? That's my question. With the Blues, yeah, like they were frustrating at points last season, and they've been frustrating at points this season too, but they were right there at the end of the season. You had a little bit of hope heading into this year that things would turn the corner, and they made moves that got you on board going into this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that out of the Cardinals. Like, I just haven't seen it. So I don't know. I think there's a level of trust, too, with this front office, and things will change next year. But, I don't know how many people trust this front office to actually get this thing back on track.
Does the change help in that regard, though? Because people are so sick of Mo that I think they'd be fine if, you went to the broom closet and just stuck a broom behind a desk and say, you're in charge now. I think fans would be okay with that.
I think it gives them a grace period, but the fans will ultimately dictate how long that grace period is.
That's fair.
So
I think it's fair.
And also, if you look at these two teams, the Blues missed the playoffs 2 years in a row. Here they are. Cardinals missed the playoffs 2 years in a row. Maybe some people expect them to be in lockstep with the Blues. Is that fair? Probably not, but maybe some people think that way.
Do you think that way?
Not necessarily. I would like them to make the playoffs. I feel like everybody in the city would, except for Carey, since he's a Dodgers fan.
Well said.
I can have two teams in
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Not if it's not enough for your other team's the Dodgers.
Why not? They can both be in the playoffs. They both can't win the World Series, obviously.
Cardinals, Dodgers in the playoffs. They're playing each other. Who are you rooting for?
Let's go. Cards.
I wish I could believe that. Beat the Streak will not be played. But Bet the Board will. Next on 101 ESPN. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Time to bet the board right now. There is no beat the streak because the Cardinals and Reds game was postponed. They'll have a doubleheader tomorrow in Cincinnati, so we will not play beat the streak, but we do have bet the board. Carey, disgusted with himself.
Damn it, Cincinnati.
And you'll find out why here in a second. Marsh.
Yes.
Latest standings.
Anthony, you have 13 points.
Yes.
I have 12 points.
No.
Carey has 10 points.
Yes.
Jamie has 9.
Okay, so for all intents and purposes, Jamie and Carey have been eliminated.
That's correct.
Because tomorrow is the last day for Bet the Board. So Carey...
You happy?
Yes. Carey will not win, and neither will Jamie.
Why is that, Anthony?
Because you have 10 points, I have 13, and there's only 2 days left.
I got a parlay left, don't I?
You do not, sir. You do not. Neither does Jamie.
I don't have one either.
You don't?
No. I used it early in the month.
You did.
During the Final Four.
So if I win tonight and you lose tonight,
you clinch.
And that makes back-to-back Bet the Boards because I won in the fast lane month of March.
Are you happy about that?
Yes. But there's still a lot of work to do. So let's get this done. All right. For my play tonight, I went back to Major League Baseball last night. I will stay in Major League Baseball tonight. Marshy, if you would, please give me the Houston Astros minus 115 against the Detroit Tigers. Tigers can't beat those fools. Not in Houston.
All right. I'm going to go with a hockey game tonight. I am picking Evan Bouchard to have 3+ shots on goal.
Really? So as long as he has 3+ shots on goal, Marsh, you win, and you stay alive and Bet the Board.
I stay
alive. Is that 3 or is that 4?
He has to have at least 3 or more.
Oh.
Boy, tomorrow's going to be tricky. If we're tied, tomorrow's going to be tricky. Well, I guess I don't need the...
Well, even if we both win tonight...
Tomorrow's going to be tricky.
Tomorrow will be tricky.
Because do I do the parlay? I don't necessarily need it. But if I do it a 2-teamer... I should have used the parlay today and buried you.
Could have. Could have, would have, should have.
It's bad strategy. It's bad strategy. Well, let's go Astros, and let's go Evan Bouchard to have 1 shot on goal or 2. I'll give you 2.
Anthony had 9 last game.
Oh, my.
He had 9?
He had 9 shots on goal.
Is anybody paying attention to this dude when he's on the ice?
He'll probably have 1 tonight.
Shoot. Is it on me?
Yeah, go ahead, Carey.
Give me the Los Angeles Clippers on the money line.
You sound confident.
Not that it matters.
You're confident. You just don't care.
Pretty much.
Yeah, makes sense.
Who should we give Jamie since it doesn't matter?
Devils. Money line.
All right, congrats on the Devils for making it a 3-2 series.
That's right. Jamie loves the Devils.
Did he play for them?
No. No, he played for the Islanders.
Oh.
He played for the Canadiens. He played for the Senators.
Coyotes?
The Phoenix Coyotes. He played for the Atlanta Thrashers.
St. Louis Blues.
He played for the Blues, of course. He, for I think 1 game, played for the Florida Panthers.
Just 1 game, eh?
That's it. He played for the... He never played for a team out west, did he?
No, but he always played really well in L.A.
In L.A.
Phoenix is west.
Yeah, true. I guess I was thinking. I was thinking California.
Are you
right.
thinking like the Sharks? Your Sharks,
or the Kings,
or your Sharks,
or the Ducks? Played for the Red Wings.
Yeah.
We miss anybody?
Did we say the Thrashers?
Yep.
Panthers.
Yep.
Bruins. Canadiens.
Oh, Bruins. No, didn't.
Senators.
Bruins. Senators. We said. Yep.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I don't know.
No. Okay.
We did get an important question, actually, from the 636. Does the lineup game count since there was no game?
No.
So our home run picks are null and void.
Oh, yeah. Yep. We have to.
Could be a different lineup.
Could be a different lineup tomorrow.
Yep.
So, yeah. All right. You can join me. That's Anthony Stalter. And the 101 ESPN Street Team this Friday for a Game 6 watch party at Cafe Telegraph. Come grab some drinks, delicious food, and enjoy the Blues game on all of their big screens. Also get a chance to register, to win 101 ESPN giveaways. That's this Friday at Cafe Telegraph, located at 2650 Telegraph Road in South County. Learn more about Game 6, the Blues watch party at Cafe Telegraph with me, Anthony Stalter, at 101ESPN.com. Speaking of the Blues, we have Joe Vitale next. We'll talk about Game 4 and also, of course, look ahead to Game 5 tomorrow night with Joe next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Tonight's Cardinals game has been postponed. They will have a double header tomorrow. So unfortunately for us, we did not play Beat the Streak. And our lineup game, Home Run Derby game, has been null and void. Miles Michaelis was supposed to be on the mound tonight for the Redbirds, and they're looking to get back in the win column after losing last night to the Cincinnati Reds by a final score of 3-1. Tomorrow night, the Blues will take on the Winnipeg Jets in Game 5 of this first-round matchup. You can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 7:30. Puck drop is at 8:30. He's up in Winnipeg right now. He will be on the call tomorrow night for your St. Louis Blues. That's Joe Vitale. We're going to talk to him next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
Carey Davis, I'm Anthony Stalter. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. No Jamie Rivers. He's in Winnipeg, but our guy Andrew Marsh is here. And joining us via the Callier and Thompson phone line is our guy Joe Vitale, who will be on the call tomorrow night for Game 5 between the Blues and the Jets. What's up, Joe?
Yo, boys, what's going on?
You ready to rock for tomorrow?
I better be. Big game. Huge.
Man.
Huge game.
Huge game. Some would say playoff atmosphere in Winnipeg tomorrow.
Oh, listen, they're going to be loud. I don't think anyone can compare and compete with what the Blues fans brought to the Enterprise Center for Games 3 and 4. And I mean that sincerely. That was the loudest I've ever heard the place, even going back probably to the 19 Stanley Cup final against the Bruins. It was loud. It was fierce. You know, they have about 3,000-ish less stands, the capacity here at the Canada Life Center. So it's a smaller venue, the smallest venue in the league. Certainly, it can get loud. It can get packed. But they're going to be having some extra energy tomorrow, but also nervous energy. You know, Stalt, this is a game for the Jets that I think the first couple of games, they're just riding this high from the regular season. The fans are riding that high as well. I think they're going to be excited, but I also think there's a lot of nervous energy that's going to be kind of floating around that building based off of how this team in the Winnipeg Jets, that is, has performed over the last two, especially with everyone being on edge of their seats to see if Connor Hellebuyck has a bounce-back game or will we see the same effort.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go, Joey. What are your thoughts about how Connor Hellebuyck has been playing, and can the Blues continue to attack him in the manner in which they have so far this series?
Well, Carey, I mean, one thing's pretty clear. He's a great goaltender on home ice. Listen, he's a great goaltender. Let's just put it that way. But where his numbers have struggled, even during the regular season, they really have fallen off away from home. So if anything is going to happen tomorrow, if there's going to be a bounce-back game for him, and you had to ask me, is it going to be tomorrow or Friday at St. Louis? My gut would say, of course, it's tomorrow. I think he's going to have a good performance tomorrow. He's back on home ice. You know, one game can shake you up. 2 games, it's like it really gets you to dial in. I think this guy is on his way to his next Vezina. He's already won 1. So he's a high, top-caliber goalie. So I think he is going to have a response tomorrow. It's going to be tough to kind of crack through at him. But you know, look, as a whole, you know, it's pretty clear the Blues have just sent so many bodies to the front. Their strategy and their game plan is just bang on playoff style. You crowd the front, you work down low, you grind them down low, you move pucks up to the point, and defensemen are getting shots through. The D-man for St. Louis have done an exceptional job getting past that first layer of defense. You know, if Justin Falk's got at the blue line, we saw him with the goal the other day. You know, Tyler Tucker. When they're at the blue line, they're winding up. Those forwards that are, 5, 6, 7, 8 feet in front of them, that's that first layer of defense. That's where a lot of shots are blocked, right? The Blues D are doing a great job getting past that first layer. And what happens is then you give yourself a chance because you put a puck around the net area where you have bodies. On the Winnipeg side, Luke Shen, Morrissey, DeMello, these guys shooting from the point, they're having a lot less success getting past that first defense, whether it be Nathan Walker, Radek Foxa, Braden Shen, blocking shots right around that blue line, so you're not even allowing the pucks to get there. So to me, that's been the biggest thing. And for the Blues, the D have gotten pucks there. There's plenty of traffic there. And Connor Hellebuyck has looked extremely shaky. He's a goalie that has had some playoff woes over the last few seasons. He clearly, and this isn't just 1 or 2 years, guys, this is going back for a few years now, he clearly struggles in playoffs. This is a mental game now. This is a pressure cooker. And this is where you really see the goaltenders that love that light and some to kind of shy away from it. I mean, it's one of the reasons why Canada picked Jordan Binnington for the Four Nations. It's a short tournament, but they want the goalie not necessarily with the best numbers, not necessarily with the best wins-loss record or the save percentage. They wanted a guy with an attitude. They wanted a guy with, get off the analytics and get away from all the numbers, who has the attitude to go in there with the gumption to win a hockey game. And I think right now you're looking at the difference between Binnington and Connor Hellebuyck, as Jordan Binnington clearly has the attitude and the poise to handle the moment.
Joe Vitale joining us right now on the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Joe, what did you think, speaking of Connor Hellebuyck, what did you think of Connor Hellebuyck? The reports were that after he was pulled, he went right to the locker room. He decided to get in his suit, and he did not join his teammates on the bench. And more importantly, you've been in an NHL locker room before. How do you think the rest of the players, his teammates, felt about that?
Yeah, again, you don't know how accurate that is. Certainly, I saw that as well. If that is true, to me, I can't really think of anything positive that would come out of that. Because the old saying in sports and whatever sport you're playing, you win as a team and you lose the team. I understand that certain players have certain personality and certain quirks, but I've been around some of the best. I mean, playing alongside Marc-Andre Fleury for the first 5 years pro, just a consummate pro, just a guy that gets it from on ice to the off ice to the social to the personality. And I remember Marc-Andre Fleury, especially in some playoff games there, and some stretches where his playoffs were really struggling. Thomas Falcoon came in relief one year. Brent Johnson came in relief one year. And this is all in playoffs because he was just allowing these sloppy goals. But he was always there. He was always present. He was always around the team. It's just that, you pick each other up. So I don't know what to make of it other than I can't imagine that it is going to be a positive thing for this team because, like I said, I hate to think that Connor Hellebuyck was blaming his teammates for some of the goals going. I understand everyone can get frustrated, but I look at the goals that certainly got past them. I think these are favorable goals. I don't think that this is a thing of bad bounces. I don't think it's a thing where the Blues, some of these shots are absolutely elite. I mean, no disrespect to Tyler Tucker. That's a shot from the point. Is it traffic? Yeah, but it's National Hockey League. It's playoffs. You're going to have to fight through traffic.
Right.
So these are savable goals. And I think Connor Hellebuyck clearly probably, if this is true, he was clearly frustrated with himself because at the end of the day, he's letting his team down. And this isn't just for 2 games, guys. Again, this is going back for a few years now where he just has not been able to get it done come playoff time. Does he have a bounce back? Is this like enough's enough and officially he is going to turn this thing around? I sure hope not for the St. Louis Blues' sake. But I know for Winnipeg, they're certainly thinking that maybe this has come to a point where it's gotten so bad where this could be his turnaround because it has not been good up to this point.
Joe, one of the players that has been fantastic for the Blues in this series, and he's been great ever since putting on the blue note, is Cam Fowler. He's got 8 points in this series. What have you seen from Cam Fowler that has just made him so spectacular so far in these 4 games?
Well, I mean, listen, his puck moving ability out of the D zone is spectacular. I think he defends well enough to be a top pair player. But one thing about his game that it just sets himself apart is he anticipates the game very well. And anticipating the game, if you can still skate, you're going to be an elite defender. You look at a player like Ryan Suter. Ryan Suter, I think he arguably maybe anticipates plays better than anyone. You only anticipate the best by doing it over and over. You see this play snapshots. You see these snapshots of plays happen a million times because you're actually performing that way. So Ryan Suter, you notice he doesn't get hit very often. Very rarely will you see him get blindsided because, as you go back for pucks and you retrieve and you play this game, all these snapshots and memories, you have a tendency to not only get a 1 step ahead, but 2 steps ahead. And then you lead are 3 steps ahead. So for Cam, with all his experience, over 1,000 games, clearly, he has a very high hockey IQ where he anticipates plays happening. You watch a game. A good player is watching the puck and he's watching, okay, where is this puck going? But the elite, the best, right? Here's the puck. Here's where it's probably going. And I guarantee you almost it's probably going to go there next. So let me get to that third layer. That's what I mean by anticipation. So Cam is almost 2 steps ahead because of the experience he's played in this league. But you complement that with a player that's not old. He's relatively young for a guy that's played over 1,000 games, and more importantly, he skates extremely well. So now you have this hybrid of a guy that sees the game very well, thinks the game very well, but he can also skate. He can scoot. He's still got the legs to get up and move up and down the ice. He reminds you a lot of Nick Leddy. Like Nick Leddy's played a long time. Nick Leddy's still one of the most prolific skaters, I think, in the National Hockey League. He makes it look so effortless. So that's where the D in general have stood out and made a difference in this series, because they have that old man wisdom where they see plays happening. But also, guys, with as much experience as the Blues back end have, they can move their feet, which really sets them apart, to me, from any other defensive group in the National Hockey League.
Speaking of defensemen, Joey, Tyler Tucker is going to be out for this game. Saying he's day-to-day right now. What does this injury mean for the Blues defenseman, and how is Ryan Suter going to fit back into this, seeing that he's been out for the last couple of games?
Yeah, well, you're losing the physicality. You're losing a player that can disrupt. You're losing a player that can defend your teammate. You're losing a player that brings a lot of personality to the team. There's no question about it. Tyler Tucker was a pretty quiet kid when he came on the scene, but he is just a lovable kid. He's almost like a little brother in this group. Kind of gullible, a little naive. He's a young kid, and I think that's why his personality fits the group so well. So he's got a lot of on the ice and off the ice attributes. The biggest thing you're going to miss is now, Winnipeg, I'm a little less fearful playing against the Blues now because you don't have a Tyler Tucker in the lineup. Now, this isn't a playoffs where there's been a ton of fights, obviously. There's not a ton of physicality where things are going to, boil over. But, you play a team, and when you're playing, there is just a little added fear when you have a team that has, let's say, a kind of a go-to fighter, a guy that's not afraid to scrap it up. And that's now, I think, what Blues are going to be missing. They're going to be missing that Winnipeg doesn't have quite maybe as much fear heading into this game as they have over the last two. Again, for Ryan Suter, he's the most experienced player in the series, second only to Nino Niederreiter, who was quite a few games less than Ryan Suter. So he's got the experience. He's a player that he's just a pro. He knows his role. He knows how to do his thing. He knows how to step in and move pucks efficiently, and he knows how to do it the right way. So I think in playoff hockey, simple is best. I think he's going to keep a simple game going. He's going to add some veteran leadership there, and I think that this rest could have really helped Ryan Suter as well, because here's a player that over 40 years old, the oldest skater in the league. I don't think he'd be complaining about 4, 5, 6 days of rest when given, because, of course, with his older body, he's looking to recover and hopefully bounce back a little bit quicker. So you lose some bite, you lose some snarl, you lose some simplicity, but you bring in some wisdom and just as much simplicity. So I think the Blues are feeling very confident about that next man up mentality.
Joe, speaking of rest, do you find the couple of days off in between games, do you find that to work in the Blues' favor?
I do. I know that some of these players are dealing with some little hiccup things, if you will. I see them on planes, and I see the way they ice up, and I see the way they're kind of limping around here and there or getting treatment. I see some braces on some limbs, as you see them walking around the hotel. This is a group, keep in mind, they've been playing playoff hockey for the last 2 months. They knew coming out of Four Nations that they're going to have to put the foot down right away. And not only put the foot down, they can't take the foot off the gas. And they didn't. And credit to them to getting to where they've been here. I mean, listen, they got the President's Trophy champions. And they got them in a 2-2 series. And I think they got a lot of momentum. So they put themselves in a wonderful spot, but that was a spot that was earned. And it's earned by playing hard, physical, determined, defending hockey. And they've been doing it for a long time. So the one thing about that is injuries are going to kind of mount up. You're going to be feeling the wear and tear of that. You compare that to, let's look at the Toronto Maple Leafs team that's up 3-1 in their series, where they were in a playoff spot for a while there, and they maybe put the kind of the cruise control in the last month and a half of hockey. So now maybe they're a little bit healthier, and I think it shows in how that lopsided that Ottawa-Toronto series is. So it's part of the process. It's part of falling behind early in the season. where now you got to make up ground in the second half, and you really got to play that determined style. So, yes, to answer your question, I think that this rest absolutely benefits the St. Louis Blues. I think it actually absolutely benefits the Winnipeg Jets because you look at a player like Velarde, who took warm-ups last game. It has been said that he will return to the lineup come tomorrow night in the late start. So Velarde is a player that how much of an impact is he going to have 5-on-5? Well, I'm not really sure. He's going to shake things up a little bit, though. He's going to give Scott Arniel the ability to kind of move some players around and try to generate hopefully some more middle-of-the-pack scoring because second, third-line scoring has been just completely invisible for Winnipeg. So that's something, but keep an eye on the power play. The power play has not been clicking very well here for Winnipeg. That very first game, they got that kind of lucky bounce goal up Suter's stick. But aside from that, maybe one little dinky one in that 7-2 lopsided loss. But it has not made a difference in this series. I think special teams are proving to be very important in this series because there have been so many penalties. So Velarde, with his shot, with his passing ability, he can spark this power play. So if anything, discipline tomorrow night is maybe going to be the most important of any game up to this point.
Joe, great stuff. Looking forward to your coverage tomorrow night right here on the Blues Radio Network 101 ESPN. We'll talk to you again next week. Hopefully we got a second series to be talking about.
Sounds good, boys. You guys have a great weekend. We'll talk to you then.
You too. Thanks, Joe. We'll see you. Joe Vitale here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Again, that coverage pregame, 7:30, puck drop 8:30 tomorrow night as the Blues take on the Jets for Game 5. When we come back, we've got what we learned, 3 stars of the day, criticisms, compliments. That's all next on 101 ESPN. If you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast available at 101ESPN.com or via the Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. All the podcast each and every day for every show brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. All right, boys, time to find out what everybody learned today. Starting with Carey Davis.
I learned in the last few minutes Kyle Gibson's having a rough day. Lordy.
Care to read that stat line you got in front of you? Want me to?
Oh, yeah, 19 pitches thrown. Where did it go? 19 pitches thrown.
He's at 26 now.
26, well, at the time.
Yeah.
It was 19. 26 pitches thrown, 5 earned runs, 4 home runs, 1 triple, 1 double, 1 single. Never did. 4 home runs. Who can keep count? You know?
I think you said 4 home runs.
4 home runs, 5 earned. Gave up 4 home runs, like solo shots, 4 of them.
Trent Grisham hit one, 412 feet. Judge hit one, 364 feet. Rice hit one, 378. Bellinger hit one, 403. Volpe only doubled. So he ain't doing his job today.
Tripled.
Jazz Chisholm tripled. I like Gibby. That's rough.
That's a rough day, man.
That'd be rough for one entire outing. This was the first inning. Yeah. 7 hits, 5 runs.
They batted around.
4 home runs.
They batted around.
Wow. Hey, got out of it, though. Marsh, what'd you learn today?
I learned that Carey is an overachiever. Yeah. He was at the 9 p.m. tally on his big jug at 4 o'clock today. And where is he at now? He's probably around 11:30.
Yeah, wow. I'm done.
Nice job.
And he's going to fill that up again.
Yeah,
and drink about half of it. Man.
Work hard. Nah, it does
work
cost
hard,
me
drink hard.
To go to the restroom
a lot.
Often.
Yeah, I would imagine.
During breaks.
It's probably good, though, right? I mean, drinking that much water and you're not going to the bathroom?
Yeah. That's probably not good.
Yeah. I learned today that when the text line and the snake pit warn us that the lineup is a bit tricky to actually believe them. Because today we had one of the worst lineup games in Everbot.
We think that was our fault. Somebody texted in saying, maybe they threw that lineup out because they knew the rain was going to be there.
Wow. Good call.
Wow.
And they just put together any makeshift lineup you can throw out there.
I think they're right.
This guy's playing. Who
to
is
hell
he?
with it.
Yeah, whatever.
Right. Ain't going to matter. Only people that are going to be screwed up is the fast lane.
Mm-hmm.
Well, joke's on them because we're already screwed up. Go ahead, Marsh.
Show us how much you know.
Are you ready for the 3 stars of the day?
Always.
It's time for the Fast Lane's 3 stars of the day. Presented by Circus Sports Illinois. Sports betting the way it should be.
All right, our 3rd star of the day is going to go out to Bill's email. Bill's email. It was wrong, but I like the effort.
Man, I don't like it.
No? Okay.
Actually, he put in little effort.
Yeah, you didn't even listen.
Didn't respond after he was completely and 100% wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get another email tomorrow.
Come on, Bill.
I doubt it. We gave him 2.5 hours to respond.
Maybe he didn't check it.
I should have.
All right, our 2nd star of the day goes out to Two Sock Williams.
Two Sock Williams. Do you think he gets hot with those 2 socks on? And
oh, yeah.
I assume so.
That's a
bigger
lot.
size shoe?
Yep. But you know what? He got a base hit one time in 1912.
Yeah.
And it was a big base hit, and he decided that he was going to go back to the well with those 2 socks.
All right.
Yeah. Some people are superstitious.
Didn't wash them either, I'm sure.
Oh, why would you?
I know I said 100%, Brandon. I corrected myself. I said 100%. I caught it. It's 5:56. Okay? Been on air for 4 hours, Brandon.
Talking.
Our 1st star of the day goes out to the Gorilla.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, 100 people.
100 guys?
Yeah.
Mowing them down.
Mowing through them?
Yeah.
You got to come out with the 1st star of the day.
I guess.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Great statistics for that Gorilla.
I am intrigued. Not saying I want to see it happen.
I think you do.
I kind of do.
Yeah. I know you.
I don't want anybody
You're over there thinking,
perish.
I would love to see this. Well, somebody's definitely dying. I mean, I think multiple people.
Yeah. Just want to know how long it would take.
What percently do you think of people are gonna perish?
Probably
10% at least.
40%.
40%. Holy smokes. Yeah. All right, that'll do it for us. For Andrew Marsh and Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. See you.